Journalists and rescuers had to scramble to safety in Morocco following a tremor in a village that was devastated by last week's earthquake.
Panic erupted on the mountainside of the Moroccan village of Kala as another smaller tremor was felt. The village was destroyed in the space of a few seconds last week when a 6.8 earthquake struck. Amid the rescue efforts, there were stories of bravery, as one local resident, Fatima Ishiri, tells the AP. We lost consciousness until we were saved by the neighbours. The flow of aid continued to arrive in the village, and some local donors handed out goats to villagers. Moroccan authorities have reported over 2,900 deaths and several thousand injuries so far. I'm Karen Shamas.
China promoting new economic opportunities for people on Taiwan, while at the same time ramping up military activity around the island. News and analysis, townhall.com. President Biden will be making the case for his economic policies later today.
The White House bills this afternoon's speech as a major economic address. Officials say he will discuss the contrast between his approach, so-called Bidenomics, and the Republicans' trickle-down economic policies. Today's speech comes one day after an inflation report showed rising gas prices, and as many Americans tell pollsters they're unhappy with the president's handling of the economy.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. California Capitol legislative workers close to forming their first labor union. This after state lawmakers approved a bill allowing legislative workers to organize. The Democrats in charge of California's legislature have historically been friendly with labor unions, but the people who work for lawmakers have never been allowed to form a union till now. On Wall Street, Dow futures up 146 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to it. Sun's out this morning. A little different for the last couple days. Sunny morning, still nice and cool out.
It was straight up foggy when I woke up. Like there was a nice thick fog.
It kind of burned off by the time I got out and about. It was still kind of dark, but it wasn't foggy. So. But yeah, now it's clear and sunny out there. We do have rain chance. It's light today.
Yeah.
But we'll get you up to date on all that. But definitely,
we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Exactly.
And rain on it.
There.
That was, it was an interesting evening of weather. It got very moist out.
Yeah.
There was a lot of moisture in the air. My windows fogged right up.
Nice.
Yeah. I didn't do anything to earn it. Fogged up the windows of my old Chevy.
I'm just sitting here.
I was by myself and lonely. That would have been a very interesting take on the Alan Jackson song. Just from the perspective of like a late 30s bachelor. So I settled for a Whopper, and then I went home, pet my cat, and ate and went to sleep.
Watch wrestling.
Yeah.
It was Wednesday.
Yeah, I did that. And it was kind of an uninteresting...
Was it a light night for wrestling?
Yeah, it was a light night.
Not a lot of activity going on the show?
No, it was a building episode.
Just garden variety wrestling and arguments. I actually watched it for 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I was...
you were putting on Young Sheldon.
Well, no. We were watching Big Bang Theory in the 6 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
And then because I have DirecTV right now.
Right.
So if I want to watch CBS, I got to flip to Paramount Plus.
Oh, okay.
So they had our 2-hour Big Brother last night at 7, so I flipped to Paramount Plus to watch our 2-hour Big Brother. And then when it ended, I went back to regular TV, and of course TBS was showing wrestling at that time. So for about 10 to, well, I'd say a good...
For as long as it took me to dive to the remote and say, get it off my TV!
No, it was 2 minutes. I saw a couple moves, and then I said, we're going to bed.
I'm trying to think if this is in the 7, like right around 7.
Well, this would have been, it was the West Coast feed, so it was 9 o'clock, so it was towards the beginning of the episode.
Okay. So you probably caught the Mox
Yeah, it was
match.
part of that one.
Yeah, just half a bloody face.
Well, in this one, it was 2 dudes in black leather pants rolling around on the floor with each other.
That sounds about like a Mox match. Are you sure it was wrestling? Are you sure you didn't accidentally click to like Spice?
No.
Okay.
It was a TBS.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I guess they're doing their which kind of surprised me. You know, because it's the fall, September, and they tweak their TV lineups and stuff. Mm-hmm. And you know what TBS's commercials are advertising right now? More Big Bang Theory.
Oh, of course.
Like they're like every day, Big Bang Theory will be on all the time.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
like,
I
that's a promotion?
saw an ad yesterday. It was like Modern Family is coming to TBS.
Yes,
it's
and
like,
that was the other ad they're throwing in there.
Well, I mean, now, granted, they've got a lot to draw from. That's an 11-season show.
Right. Well, that show's been on like USA and stuff, and it's not been on TV. Like USA shows reruns of it.
It was an NBC property, so it's owned by the Universal.
Now TBS has picked it up, so they're going to show it at nauseam on their channels.
That's kind of interesting because TBS is a HBO Max franchise.
Yes,
but the other one is that's interesting.
Yeah,
so that's like Discovery
NBC
Plus
Universal. You'd think they'd stick them on.
That's Paramount. Of course, it's
Peacock.
It's very similar to what happened with South Park because South Park signed a really big contract with Paramount Plus and exclusively released episodes over there, but they released their seasons onto, I think, Hulu and their other
I'm going to guess there's probably some rule in syndication, like after so many years of a show being syndicated, it's fair game for other networks maybe or something. Maybe. I don't know. Because Modern Family was not on there up until now. So I'm thinking there's some statute of limitations that happened or something happened with the Modern Family that it clicked the contract to making it available.
It could be one of those. So like, for example, this is a good example. Scrubs aired for 8 seasons on NBC, but the production studio that behind the product was ABC Studios.
Okay.
So they actually owned the show and licensed it to NBC. That's why the last season, or the 8th season, went to ABC.
Gotcha.
Before it all went to hell in the 9th season.
Well, and then some just cancel things and others pick it up.
Yeah.
Like the Tim Allen show, Last Man Standing.
Yes.
That was one of them. That I think
Community is another great example because Yahoo Screen picked that up for its 6th season.
Community,
and it's not going to happen anytime soon again. Thank you, Strike. But there is talk of a movie. If we can achieve #6 seasons in a movie, nerds all around the world.
This is worse than Entourage. Like when Entourage ended the show, they kept promising a movie, and it was a good 5 years before the movie came out after the show. And people were like, yeah, right. So they actually did it, though.
I feel like there is a genuine interest for a Community movie.
I would watch it.
If they could get Donald Glover back as Troy, I mean, yeah, I'm in.
I would even want to see Chevy in there.
No.
I want to throw Chevy.
I'll tell you this. If they do Chevy, it has to just be a cameo.
Yeah.
Just for like, he shows up in like a scene, maybe as like a hologram.
Yeah.
Because they did that once.
Yeah.
That was actually...
I know people have thoughts on Chevy, but to me, he was also very much a part of it.
And time heals wounds. I agree. I would agree.
Chevy had some great lines.
He had some fantastic... Fat. He's responsible for, invite me to your crap. Yeah. He's responsible for some of my favorite lines. Plus, he also has one of my favorite season 1 gags, and it's the ice cream machine gag.
Yes. Well, that's just it. If there's anything remotely cringe... Chevy picked up that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was the guy, like anything that was like off-putting but funny.
Right.
Chevy's like, I got this. It
is weird though how he like aged to a different human being.
Yeah. He's a different man than vacation days.
Cool jacket.
He just got that. He was excited to sport that day because of the weather.
Cool as heck.
Yeah.
I'm mad that I didn't go back in and grab my hoodie. I was like, dang it, this is the first time this year I could wear my zip up Packers hoodie.
I think tomorrow night when you go to the game.
Oh yeah.
And here in Roswell, there's a 60% chance of rain tomorrow night.
Uh-oh.
So you might want to bring a poncho.
Sure.
Yeah.
And a lefty.
Yeah. Of course, you'll be indoors in the suite eating hot dogs, and but you got to get in there. So you want to be dry while you're in there.
Right.
So, anyway, let me give you the rundown. We do have a full slate for you for today. Nice. Guess what we're going to do today? Finally, here in just a few minutes.
We're finally playing that interview.
The Jim Townsend interview.
Nice.
Yes. On Monday, Jim Townsend, who's I guess you would say House Minority Leader for the Republicans in the state house here. He came on Gene's show Monday to talk all about the governor's thing, which pretty much everybody now it's the governor versus everybody at this point. But so we're going to play that interview. It's about a 25-minute interview. So I kept wanting to play it, and then things happened. So we're going to play that here in just a few minutes. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to talk about Museum Day, which is this Saturday, all day, 10 to 5. We're going to have Carolyn Brooks. She's with the Roswell Museum and Art Center, join us, and Nancy Fleming with the Anderson Museum and the Miniatures Museum. She used to be the Artesia, because I remember back when I did the morning show in Artesia, I would interview her from time to time. At that time, she was head of the Artesia Museum.
Oh.
So, but anyway, they're going to join us, and we'll talk all about Museum Day, which is this Saturday. This is pretty cool. If it's not on your radar.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about this.
So all 7 museums are having a day on Saturday. And by the 7 museums, I'm talking about the Roswell Museum and Art Center.
Sure.
The Miniatures and Curiosities Museum.
Okay.
The International UFO Museum.
Oh.
The Walker Aviation Museum. The museum at NMMI. I can't remember the name of it. It's a cool museum if you've ever been in there.
Is it the Anderson?
It's not the Anderson. That's another. The Anderson's part of this.
Okay.
But that's a different museum. There's one inside.
I didn't know there was a museum inside NIMI.
There is the NIMI Museum. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head.
I did not even know
the
that.
museum at NMMI there, it's a very cool museum. They get some really cool stuff. I saw it over the summer. The Anderson Museum, as you had mentioned.
Sure.
And the Historical Society, the J.P. White House
Wow.
there. So what they're doing is you can get if you visit all 7 museums, you can be put into a drawing to win a prize valued at $700. Now, you got to do a bit of an order. Not bad, but so you got to pick up a passport at one of the museums.
Sure.
And then you go visit the other museums to get the passport stamped. You get in free to all the museums.
Nice.
But here's the catch. Because normally the UFO Museum charges you to get in. Here's what you got to do. You got to go to one of the other museums first.
Okay.
Pick up the passport. Do your thing, tour, and then so just make the International UFO Museum second, anything but your first stop.
Got it.
That way you
as long
pick
as you
up,
have the passport.
Yeah, you show them the
admission is free.
passport at the museum, at the International UFO Museum, they'll let you in for free. But you got to have the passport, which you can get at any of the other museums.
Okay.
So just don't go there. But we'll talk about it in the 8 o'clock hour.
Right.
But anyway, that's pretty cool. That's coming up on Saturday here. So want to get families to get out there and have some fun. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to replay our interview. We had Roswell Independent School District. We had Assistant Superintendent Jennifer Cole and Dr. Porter Cottrell, the principal at Goddard High. They joined us to give us the rundown from the last school board meeting and just talk about stuff happening around the RESD. Brian Luck was out of pocket in a meeting yesterday, so he couldn't join us. So
He was out of luck.
Yeah. So plus we'll do all of your other features that include the news of the local, national variety, and all the features and all that good stuff.
Sure.
So, don't forget football tomorrow night. The Roswell Coyotes will be on the road taking on the Carlsbad Cavemen. That game will have the audio side of it right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Kickoff is at 7. Pregame will start around 6:40. You can also watch the game, ksvptv.com and the Roswell Coyote channel. Goddard Rockets will be in the friendly confines of the Wool Bowl Friday night as they take on the Piedra Vista Panthers. That game will you can hear the audio only on our sister station 106.1 FM Fierro. You can watch the game, live stream your video, ksvptv.com and the Goddard Rocket channel. Once again, kickoff at 7, pregame right around 6:40. And then Bulldogs are at home hosting the Cleveland Storm.
The Storm rolled in yesterday, and
the defending 6A champs taking on the defending 5A champs in a big matchup in the Bulldog Bowl Friday night. You can hear that game on our sister station, 990 AM KSVP, of course, we're in Artesia. Probably want to download the app to listen because AM radio at night doesn't travel very far.
Indeed.
And then, of course, you can watch the game, ksvptv.com, in the Bulldogs channel there. So we got you covered tomorrow night. But like I said, I'll get you up to date on the weather here, but like today's like a 20% chance of rain, and tonight's a 30, and during the day tomorrow's a 30. But tomorrow night, our rain chances bump up to 60%.
As blue as that sky is, I'm a little worried about some humidity with those kind of rain chances today.
So yeah. But either way, you might want to don't bring an umbrella. Don't take umbrella to football games, because that's mean.
I mean,
unless you're the back row.
Yeah, I give you that. It's not the greatest thing in the world to do, but it's also, I mean, unless you have one of those umbrellas that's see-through.
Yeah, but even that's mean.
Because then you could like pull it over your head. You're not blocking as many people.
Just get a raincoat.
You know what you need to do? Get a suite.
There you go.
That's how you watch high school football.
I should just do this every time.
From this room, really sings.
And I'm dry. All right, it is 19 minutes after 7. Let's get you up to date on the weather. Powder up, boys.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have just enough moist air coming into the area for a few showers or thunderstorms later on today. Mix of sun and clouds and upper 80s to about 90s. Scattered showers this evening, cloudy overnight and upper 60s. Then maybe a few afternoon showers and thunderstorms again on Friday. We'll be in the mid 80s. Looks about the same for the weekend. We can expect some afternoon showers and maybe a thunderstorm. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 63 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 81% with winds out of the northwest at 9 miles per hour. Today, we are looking at a 20% chance for some showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. They do say some storms could produce heavy rain if we get one. Mostly sunny and a high of 89 today. Winds will be out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, we're looking at a 30% chance at showers and thunderstorms. They're talking late, mainly after 10, but they say some storms could produce some heavy rainfall if we get some. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 63, southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, during the day, 30% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mainly after 1. Again, some storms could produce some heavy rainfall, partly cloudy, 87 for a high tomorrow, east winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday night, our chance of rain bumps up to 60%. They're saying mainly after 1, so after football, which is good. They're saying mainly after 1. Some of the storms could be severe, though. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 65. Winds out of the southeast, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Looking at the weekend, we are looking at a 60% chance of rain, but early on Saturday in the morning. It should taper off by midday, I think. Partly cloudy, 82 for a high. Winds out of the north at around 10 miles per hour. Saturday night, they're talking a 40% chance of rain, and mainly before 1 in the morning. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 61. 30% chance of rain for Sunday afternoon. Partly cloudy and 84. 30% chance of rain for Sunday night. Partly cloudy and 61. And Monday of next week, 30% chance of rain, sunny, and 90 for a high. And then it looks like low 90s for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. All right, 7:22. We're going to take a 3.5-minute break, and then we're going to play our interview with Jim Townsend, representative. He actually covers Artesia, the area, but he is the House minority leader, so he's kind of the head dude for the Republicans on the House side of things. So we'll play that interview up next here. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Fall time is almost here, and the holidays will be here before you know it. The Calico Cow invites you to move on into the cow and check out the new holiday fabrics arriving daily and take advantage of a huge sale on Brothers sewing machines now through the end of the year. Get free lessons, maintenance, and a first-year cleaning included. Fall into savings at the Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, now at their new location, 200 East College in Roswell. Want to know how? Come see the cow.
I read a quote once that said, when you blame others, you give up your power to change. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
We all want to play the victim at times. It even feels good to feel sorry for ourselves. But that puts a lid on our life. It stunts our growth. It damages our marriages. And if you have children, it can even hurt them.
It can seem like a daunting task to take responsibility for our actions. But the Bible says in Philippians 4:13, we can do everything through Christ who gives us strength.
If you've never experienced the love of God, and you don't know your true potential and don't realize how good God is, when you're feeling like a victim, turn to God. He'll give you the strength to move beyond yourself and help you have a victorious marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
This may be the biggest sales event of the whole year. The greatest sell-off is on at Roswell Honda, and that means the race is on to save big. Like a 2019 Ford Fiesta for just $329 a month, or a 2011 Toyota Highlander for just $289 a month. Plus, push, pull, or drag in your trade, and it's worth at least $2,000 towards your next vehicle. Then join Roswell Honda September 23rd from 10 to 1 for free lunch and great prizes, including your chance to win an Xbox Series X Forza Horizon bundle. The greatest sell-off on now at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Eastern New Mexico University in Portales is proud to offer potential students the opportunity to attend ENMU tuition-free with the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship. And now we're proud to announce the newly created Freshman Hound Housing Room Grant, which will allow students the opportunity to receive up to $3,000 per year off their housing costs when living on the ENMU campus. For more information on how ENMU is making higher education more affordable for you and your family members, visit enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success, that's what we're about.
Let's face it, guys. We're living in times where the truth is becoming more suppressed and censorship is increasing at an alarming rate, especially on social media platforms. It's Clyde, and I want to tell you about a safe and secure digital playground we put together just for you. It's aftermath.media. You get access to thousands of Ground Zero archives and podcasts, along with our private social media groups with your basic membership starting at only $7 a month. Each subscription includes tech support, access to the RSS feeds, along with our own chat room and Telegram channel. In addition, the premium membership includes research study groups, webinars, a document and movie library, a live video stream of Ground Zero, a monthly Zoom chat with me, and other bonus content. Be sure to check out our yearly specials as well. Sign up today while you're thinking about it. Sign up at aftermath.media. Again, that's aftermath.media.
The inventor of Pringles is buried in a Pringles can. I wonder if they got their hands stuck putting him in there. Here's Mike Winters.
Clock hour of our broadcast, and Good Morning Artesia radio shows. We get ready for hour number 3, the 9 o'clock hour of our broadcast, and I'm surprised to see an alive Jim Townsend sitting in the studio. What was all that?
Alive and well. There you go.
What was all that about?
That's craziness. I don't know what it was about, to be real honest. There's always in the political world somebody that doesn't like what you did or just wants to raise Cain, you know.
Yeah.
And I think in this instance it was a little bit of both. So
well, I'm glad to see you alive and well, and I'm sure most of folks in this district are, so that's good to see. Thursday, when the governor issued the health order for gun violence, did you have any inkling or suspicion that the next day she would turn around and do what she did?
No, I have seen her do some pretty wild stuff in the last 3.5 years, and sometimes, you know, you watch her do things and you see a strategic political initiative that she's trying to impose. She did that a lot during COVID. In this, I think she's just kind of off her rocker. I mean, I don't think she thought it through. She admitted in her press release that criminals would not pay attention. It wouldn't do anything for them, which is ludicrous. So you are purposely going after law-abiding New Mexicans, and she just wants to make a political statement, and I think she has, and I think she'll pay a price for it.
Well, it's been interesting, the reaction that we've seen from both sides. Conservatives, Republicans, pretty quick to jump out and say, no, you can't.
Yeah,
too much. But there's even been some on the Democrat side nationally. Let me ask you this, with her being basically a lame duck governor, so there's no real political calculation long term, have you heard from anybody on the Democrat side in New Mexico that might step up and agree with Republicans on trying to oppose this?
Yes, I have heard. In fact, Friday night I got a call. I got several calls, but I got a call from a friend, Democrat, Albuquerque, and he said, "Jim, you guys got to jump on this." And I told him, I said, that's fine and dandy, but some of you guys are going to have to jump on and help. And just this morning, I heard that there were a group of legislators, some Democrat legislators, a big group, were working on an op-ed coming out, and we're going to stand for the Constitution. So I applaud them. I think this is much bigger than political jockeying. This is real live attack on every Constitution amendment that we have, and today it's what is it, New Mexico, it's the second article, number 6, I believe, that talks about a right to bear arms. And I really do. I really look forward to a group of grown-ups, and I don't mean that disparagingly, a group of people across both parties that come together and stand for the benefit of New Mexicans. This has gone on long enough, and so I'm hopeful that'll happen. I've been encouraging the new leadership to be pushing for a special session. The governor in her press conference said she was open to arguing and debating the merits of this deal, and I posted immediately, if that's true, you ought to be asking legislators to get back to Santa Fe and let's do our job. But the minority, the Republicans in the House, for the last 4 years I know of as leader, have repeatedly proposed crime packages specifically to address the Albuquerque issue. And without fail, they just ransacked that. They'd turn it around and they'd want felons to vote, and they wanted felons to get out of prison early, and they wanted this, and they've just gone. There's a group that's just gone off the deep end, and unfortunately, everybody in Albuquerque right now is paying for it because it's really gotten dangerous up there, and without regard to political affiliation, people don't want to take their kids to the park. They don't want to go out and get ice cream at night. They don't know where these crimes are going to hit. You have these groups of gangs that are running around ransacking people, getting their laundry out of the car, and it's just craziness, and we have to put a stop to it. It's horrible that our largest city in New Mexico, that should be our flagship, is now the anchor. And so it's a better city than that, and it deserves better. I'm always so appreciative of our sheriffs in this area. Of course, Mark, Lee County, Chavis, Lincoln. They almost always immediately come right back and say, this is malarkey. We're not going to do it.
Right.
And I look forward to many of the state policemen doing the same thing.
Yeah, you hate to ask them to not follow orders because the governor is over the state police, but this is really kind of crazy on that. Now, somebody posted, I don't know if there's any truth to this possibility or not, but somebody said that couldn't the governor be brought under the same police reforms that basically did away with qualified immunity for our law enforcement officers? Could she be held under that same standard there? I don't know. You've been in the legislature. You've worked with other legislators during the last couple of sessions to try to rein in the emergency health orders, and just nobody appeared to want to work with Republicans to try to put some kind of constraints on these public health orders. When she issued that Thursday, I immediately thought she's going to use it for something not necessarily related to health.
Well, it's became her political tool. I mean, she now has at her disposal, under this statute, she can as governor, deem a health order. She can immediately expend $750,000 without any oversight, and that's what she's doing. She's, and it's ridiculous, Gene. When you read it, she, for months after the 2021 session, I would see. In fact, when I left up there one day, I think I've told you the story, and there's state policemen all up and down I-20 or US 285, and I thought, well, there must be a wreck or something. I mean, there were dozens. And I finally got to a little top of a hill, and there's one sitting on each side of the road, and they were standing there talking, so I could see the traffic coming behind me, and so I stopped and I said, "What are you guys doing?" And the guy looked at me and kind of ducked his head, and he said, "Rep, we're directing traffic." And I said, "Well, Albuquerque burns."
Yeah.
And so, it's just craziness. I mean, we're wasting money. We literally have more money than we have sense today. And
right.
It's we really need someone on the fourth floor that can lead this state back to being the land of enchantment. And I'm hopeful that we'll get that.
Sure. There's been talk of some lawsuits being filed.
Yes,
What do you know about the lawsuit that have been discussed over the weekend?
Well, what I can tell you is the House of Representatives and the New Mexico Senate Republicans will file, if not today, very early this week. I think Steve and the New Mexico Republican Party are working the same path. Mm-hmm. Maybe a different path, but they're working toward the same goal. The NRA is supposedly ready to rock and roll. The sportsmen's, New Mexico sportsmen's are energized and ready to go. So I think she's going to have a real volley of lawsuits hit her. I haven't talked to an attorney yet that thought it would go very far, mm-hmm. that the courts would strike this down. But it is a sad day in New Mexico when you have to stand up for something like this.
Now, some in support of the governor and mm-hmm. some opposed to the gun violence issue are going to say, we have to do something. We have this gun violence situation. And I don't know all the details about the road rage incident outside the ballpark, if there were illegal guns or legal. And, of course, I think she referenced another tragic killing of a 5-year-old. Mm. So anybody that looks at those situations and talks with the families and victims of the gun violence are going to say, look, we have to do something. You can't just stand there and say, Second Amendment gun rights. What are we going to do about the gun violence that we have in New Mexico?
And you cannot help but feel absolute pain in your gut for those families. Anybody that loses a child like that, it's just horrifying. But the same feelings are there with parents whose kids are dying today on the streets with fentanyl, and she has just turned her back to that. I mean, we have nobody on the southern border. We know it's coming in. Our sheriffs tell us it's coming in, and for some unknown reason, she doesn't want to fight that battle. She wants to fight this battle because it has political benefits to her. I think that's what she thinks. But it is. I mean, we've got to get crime under control, and that's all crime, not just gun crime. We got to get this drug crime. We got a lot of things to do. All of this snatch and grab and breaking into these people's car. I saw a video somebody sent me the other day. Some lady was in, I think it was in Albuquerque, I'm pretty sure it was, and she was at the laundromat putting her laundry in the back of the car while she had her back down, putting stuff in the car. A bunch of thugs jumped on her, and you know, I mean, just that is wrong.
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, I don't mean to sound like I'm crying wolf, but the people that I talk to up there say it's all the time.
Yeah.
It's every day. And you go downtown at night, and there are areas that, I tell you, it looks like a third world country.
Yeah, right here in New Mexico.
In New Mexico. And so we have to address the crime issue. And you are exactly right. It's more than just guns. But it certainly includes guns. It includes drugs. It includes, you know, all the burglaries and all the forced entries that are occurring up there. There has to be penalties, and we have to get enough support behind our police officers, monetarily, equipment, and numbers to address the issue. Stripping them of their qualified immunity and browbeating them to not do anything, and then blame them because there's crimes out of control. They're better men than that. I know many of those men and women that serve in that uniform. They're good people. They want to do what's right. When they signed up to be a state policeman, they were the best of the best. And they stand tall, and they do what's right. And I know some of them that have served and left and said, I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. So,
well, a lot of the crime that we're talking about centers around the Albuquerque area and Bernalillo County.
Most of it.
I haven't seen if the mayor of Albuquerque has said anything, but it seems like Albuquerque is one of these communities that was early on with, if it's less than $1,000, don't even call us. We're not even going to respond to your crime. So it seems like we raised the bar, or lowered the bar when it comes to what we're going to address when it comes to crime in certain parts of New Mexico.
Yeah, we have the inactions of our legislature and our governor. We're seeing the fruits of that right now. I kind of get cold chills every once in a while. I think, you know, there's one group of legislators up there that are saying, you know, we deserve to be paid, and I'm like, you're being paid exactly what you're worth right now. You know, I mean,
ain't that the truth?
It really is. I mean, you're not doing anything. I mean, education's the last. I mean, crime's top. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And we deserve better. And I think it's time the people of New Mexico go to the polls and demand better. And I mean straight across the board, without regard to political party. You ought to be looking at people's votes. You ought to be seeing how they're voting, what they're saying, how they're doing it, and look at them as individuals. And if they're not doing it right, get them out of there.
Yeah.
Get somebody in that can.
Well, she did win re-election.
Unfortunately.
And carried quite a number of counties in New Mexico. And I think a lot of people voted for her again because she took care of them during COVID.
She
Or
did.
at least that's what their belief is. I'm sure there's a lot of people that believe in what she's attempting to do here because they perceive that she's trying to take care of them with the gun violence. But at some point in time, people have to realize that that's not the way to go about that. I hope it's not too late on that. How far do you see the pushback on this? Is this simply to get this overturned or suspended, if you will? Or do you see the possibility that this might lead to some legislation in the upcoming session to get a control of the emergency health order situation?
Well, I'm hopeful for the latter. Representative Nybert up in Roswell has been charged with carrying that piece of legislation for the last 2 or 3 years. And he's done a super job of presenting it, and it's just been quickly killed. When this started, I heard a lot of people, raising Cain about, we need to impeach her. Well, it takes 3/5 of both houses to convene into a special session. That means in the House, you have to have 17 Democrats that are going to come across and help you. And there are not currently, to my knowledge, 17 what I call conservative Democrats that would come across and help. So I said we should not be trying to convene to impeach. We should be trying to convene to address the crime problem. I mean, our issue is crime. And so if you want people from both parties to come together, you have to find commonality in what you're after. And I think there are, 23 or 4 legislators out of Albuquerque. They have to be, most of them are Democrats. They have to be under tremendous political pressure to address the issue. So don't say we're just out to kick your governor out. I mean, let's say we're out to fix a problem and see if we can get them to come across the aisle to do that. Now, if they don't come across the aisle to fix crime, then they're going to have to face their constituents at the polls in November.
Right.
But I don't think that for, more than half of New Mexico now are dependent upon some program for their livelihood, whether it be Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, whatever it is. So we have, because of, in my opinion, the lack of leadership, we have allowed our society to get to the point that they are dependent upon the government for livelihood. And so without thinking about opportunity and flourishing and having a great job, they have become confident or comfortable in that we'll take money from the government. And so that's why last year when we tried to get a tax package passed we had all this new money coming in, $3.5 billion. Instead of giving everybody a little money, we should have given everybody a tax break because it's their money.
Yeah.
What are we doing with it? We ought to be giving it back to the taxpayers. And they didn't want to do it because they see that ability to divvy that money out as power and control. And they know as long as those people that are dependent upon them are going to take that money, they'll probably get a vote. And I would much rather help that family flourish. I mean, beyond their wildest imaginations. We need jobs and opportunities in New Mexico. And we have a lot of ability in New Mexico that's going untapped. I mean, I've become mind-boggled. Paula and I had dinner with a lady that runs one of the big oil and gas companies up here, and she told me that with today's technology, technology, we're only recovering about 10 or 15% of the oil in the rock today because we haven't figured out how to sweep the rest of it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the income that New Mexico would see if you took today's numbers and doubled them or tripled them? And the opportunity to New Mexico then is just endless. I mean,
sure,
we ought to have great roads. We ought to have the ability to have the best schools, and our kids should not be 50th or 51st. They ought to be in the top 10.
Yeah, they should be.
Yeah.
Too bad we can't figure out a way to prove that if we did the oil research and got the oil out of the ground, we could build more windmills. Wait a minute. We can't build the windmills without oil anyway. But we don't make that connection. So what do you think happens from here? What? Because I agree with you. It'd be nice if we had a realistic thought of maybe a recall or something like that. But the reality is she's going to be governor for a couple more sessions, and we need to find that common ground to address the crime issue the way that it needs to be addressed. So where do you think happens from here over the next few days with this?
I am hopeful, and I believe that the efforts to push back on her assault on our Second Amendment rights will be upheld. I think that will stand. I think we will prevail on that. I am hopeful that through that process, the public, especially in Albuquerque, sees that a group of their legislators, I'm hopeful of this, that they were part of the group that worked together as grown-ups to make it happen. And then my dad used to say, the strength of my neighbor's spine strengthens mine. I hope when one stands, the rest of them start standing and say, hey, this is right. We're here to represent our constituents, and they will be, we're going into an election cycle in 24, so there's a little political pressure there. But I hope they get to use it to their benefit, to be real honest, and say, I stood up. I did what was right.
Yeah.
And instead of just, yielding to the political winds, they start thinking about New Mexicans. And that would be a really neat thing to happen in New Mexico is people start standing for their constituents.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to mention other than you're still alive?
I'm still alive.
You're going to run for Senate now?
I am.
Okay.
I just announced last week that I am leaving the House and going to try to gain the support of the people in District 34, Senate District 34, and be their senator. So that's my goal today, is to move over to the Senate. And I look forward to serving my constituents in District 34.
Where will you be if you get elected? What does that district encompass?
It's really kind of unique because it's about 80% of my old district before redistricting, and about 30 or 40% of my new district. So it's basically from here to Alamogordo. It's parts of Artesia and Carlsbad, all of Hope, Mayhew, Pinon, Cloudcroft, a little bit of Tularosa, and the southern part of Alamogordo, and then all the way south down to Chaparral.
Okay.
So it's kind of this corner of the state.
There you go. Well,
I look forward to that. It's a great district.
It does sound like it is, and should be an interesting next few months for you there to go through that. Well, let's hope the some court issues a stay on this, and then let's hope this results in maybe a special session in which, as you say, the adults can get together and say, look, Governor, we're with you. We want to stop crime.
Yeah.
But here's what really needs to happen to do that, and maybe some consensus can be gathered.
Well, if she listens to her own Attorney General, I heard him with my ears and his own mouth speaking to automobile dealers group last fall in Albuquerque, and he said we would have had a new crime package that I supported if it wasn't for my own party.
He did. Well, you heard it.
I heard it, and he said it, and I appreciate Raul telling the truth.
Yeah, and then has the lieutenant governor, I haven't seen where he has had a comment on any of this. He seems like a real nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
But I don't know if he's willing to go against the flow on this one or not.
He's probably in a pretty tough spot to speak up.
Yeah, probably is. State
Albuquerque, which is facing significant backlash. Wednesday, Roswell city attorney said the order, quote, does not pass constitutional muster. And New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres even chiming in, sending a letter to the governor saying he will not defend the administration in its public health emergency order. Torres says he does not believe the emergency order will have any meaningful impact on public safety and does not even pass constitutional muster. Torres urged the governor to engage in a more thoughtful and deliberate process with members of the state legislature rather than taking unilateral action that he says, quote, infringes on the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens while having no discernible impact on the underlying dynamics that drive gun violence. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Today I'm going to spotlight a new feature on the Apple iPhone 15. This one's long overdue, and it could protect you and your family. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. Apple's Find My feature has been a godsend for parents and those watching over loved ones. When you and another person share your locations using the Find My app, you have peace of mind knowing where your loved one's at. And Apple has now made this feature even better. When a friend or family member shares a location with you and they have a compatible iPhone, your phone will display an arrow leading you directly to them. The arrow provides turn-by-turn instructions and counts down the distance until you reach them. I know you may be concerned about your privacy, but privacy has nothing to do with this. This is a service for people who want each other to know where they're located and have nothing to hide with each other. Hey, get tech smart every single day and join over 500,000 people who do with my free newsletter. You're going to love it. Sign up at getkim.com. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus the leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates worth interviewing. Did you know every week nearly 50 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn.com/Kim.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Got an update to a partial score. Apparently it was a partial score that we reported yesterday. The Goddard boys soccer team did win on Tuesday at Carlsbad by a score of 2-1 in overtime. That was originally reported as a 1-1 tie. How about a little NMMI update? The football team is 2-1 after defeating Navarro College 50-30 over the weekend. They'll be playing at home against Kilgore College Saturday at 4 o'clock. And the NMMI volleyball team is now 13-4. The Broncos are 1-0 in conference play after winning last night a 3-0 sweep over Amarillo College. Their game on Saturday, they swept Iowa Western. Leah Linares had 10 kills to lead the Lady Broncos in that one. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. U.S. consumer prices increased by the most in 14 months in August as the cost of gasoline surged, but the annual rise in underlying inflation was the smallest in nearly 2 years, likely giving the Federal Reserve cover to leave interest rates unchanged next Wednesday. Holiday sales in the United States are estimated to grow at their slowest pace in 5 years, as dwindling household savings and worries over the economy prompt consumers to spend judiciously. Delta Airlines and United Airlines were ordered by a federal judge to face a consumer antitrust class action, accusing major U.S. carriers of conspiring to drive up domestic airfares by reducing the number of available seats. Oil prices were near flat on Wednesday after earlier hitting a 10-month high, as a surprise build in U.S. crude inventories offset expectations of tight crude supply for the rest of the year. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
The Rehabilitation Center at Artesia General Hospital offers a variety of services led by experienced licensed therapists, including physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. Their multidisciplinary team provides a complete evaluation with the full support of your primary care provider to develop a custom plan to support your personal goals and recovery needs. These treatment plans help manage symptoms, educate patients and their families, and ultimately get back to the activities that bring you joy. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/rehab.
The need to grow past our basic capabilities and experience the impossible will forever keep aviation technology evolving. Within the Aviation Maintenance Technology program at ENMU Roswell, students thrive knowing that the faculty and community are supporting their success. ENMU Roswell is dedicated to empowering students through hands-on skills training in a nurturing environment. To learn more, contact us today.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Roswell's home for talk radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. One key element of Biden immigration policy has been ruled illegal by a Texas federal judge, striking down the DACA program.
That's an Obama-era federal policy that prevents the deportation of hundreds of thousands of immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children. But the judge declined to order an immediate end to the program and the protections it offers to recipients.
Correspondent Keith Peters says the White House promises an appeal. A federal judge has struck down the New Mexico governor's order suspending the right of legal gun owners to carry firearms in Albuquerque and vicinity. Mitt Romney makes it official. The Republican senator from Utah announcing he is not running for re-election next year. Meanwhile, one of President Biden's favorite columnists is urging him to hang it up.
The headline on the Washington Post column doesn't mince any words. President Biden should not run again in 2024. The opinion piece was written by David Ignatius, who likes and supports the president and his legislative accomplishments. But he writes that it's time for Mr. Biden and Vice President Harris to step aside, saying it would be a wise choice for the country. Ignatius says the president's age is a serious drawback and has been the subject of dinner table conversations across America this summer. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Americans stepped up retail spending modestly from July to August as the price of gasoline spiked again. Retail sales rose 0.6% last month compared with a revised 0.5% increase in July. Inflation at the wholesale level accelerated last month. That according to the Labor Department out this morning with its producer price index. 14 hours before the strike deadline, UAW President Shawn Fain says offers from the 3 Detroit automakers fall short and the union is set to walk. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 230 points, the Nasdaq ahead 37. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Thousands have been buried so far, victims of the devastating flooding that has swept parts of Libya.
The latest we've heard from the mayor of the city of Derna is that as many as 20,000 people may have been lost in this terrible disaster. That figure could rise in coming days because the reality is it's pretty chaotic on the ground there, and they're going to be counting the bodies for days, if not weeks to come. This part of North Africa does get heavy rainfall at this time of the year. Not a deluge like this. Something like half a year's worth of rain landed within 24 hours.
The BBC's Quentin Somerville. Cambodia's new prime minister has arrived in Beijing on his first official trip abroad since taking office last month, scheduled to meet with Chinese leader Xi Jinping, a visit that demonstrates Cambodia's warm ties with China, its closest political and economic ally. News and analysis at townhall.com. A Missouri judge has upheld the constitutionality of the state's Senate districts.
Cole County Circuit Judge John Beadham rejected claims the districts drawn by a judicial panel after the 2020 census unlawfully divided a St. Louis suburb and a western Missouri county into multiple districts. Attorney Chuck Hatfield said he would like to appeal to the state Supreme Court if his clients are willing. It was the first legal test to revise redistricting standards approved by voters in the 2020 elections. Missouri, one of about 20 states where there is ongoing redistricting litigation. John Scott reporting.
If you think the roads have gotten more congested on your morning commute, the Census Bureau says you're right. The rate of workers driving to their jobs crept upward nationwide last year, as did those who carpool to work by car, truck, or van. The mean commuting time jumped by almost 1 minute in 2022 from the year before. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk? Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2. Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yes.
Almost there.
TGI Thursday, or So Happy It's Thursday.
Yeah, SHI Thursday. I always heard it as Sure Happy It's Thursday.
Sure Happy It's Thursday.
But nonetheless, happy Thursday,
yeah, buddy.
Hope you're having a good one. Weather's starting to cloud up, though.
It is actually, I was going to say the blue went away and it's replaced by the gray.
Cloud up, which I still dig.
Yeah.
Not tired of this yet. Still not tired. I want to go out and frolic.
That's what I'm saying. People in like Seattle are like, come down to New Mexico. Get soaked in the sun for 287 days.
Wake up. Oh, great. Another sunny day.
The forecasters are just sitting, the meteorologists are sitting there just throwing cards into a hat. Forecast got written at 5:20 this morning.
Yeah.
Except for now, right now, they get to write little novellas.
That's true.
That's why they're flexing right now, dude. It's their time to shine. It's their chance.
And Dan. Chance and Dan. You know, I'd like to tip of the cap to Hurricane Lee. It's getting a lot of run on that. Like in hurricane season, like some of the others we only talked about for a day or two, but they've been talking about this Lee one for like a week and a half.
Yeah.
I think it's just out the ocean doing most of its damage. But
yeah, it's just spinning around.
But
right now.
man, I was like
gathering steam.
All the other ones kind of just petered out, but this Lee one was like, geez, they're still talking about Hurricane Lee. When's this one going away? So to all you Lees out there, your Hurricane's kicking butt.
That's right. Those of you who had Lee as your first round draft pick, don't worry. You didn't blow it in the fourth play of the game. By the way, a retraction, I do have to admit, you were right. It was the fourth play of the game.
Oh.
But the first drive of the game.
Yes, it was right. It was early. But
here's the funny thing, and I listened to somebody whose husband was a hardcore, die-hard Jets fan.
Okay.
First of all, what's wrong with you? But secondly, they said that for like 3 months, this person has been through, sports shows, podcasts, whatever, has been spoon-fed a complete history of Aaron Rodgers to the point where the average Jets fan is such a massive Aaron Rodgers mark now.
Yeah.
They're like, this is our guy.
It is.
He's our savior. This is the first thing since Mark Sanchez pulled the butt fumble that we actually had a chance.
Because you think about it. When's the last time the Jets had this? And it ain't Sanchez.
No, but in fairness,
Joe Namath.
Yeah, it was.
And most of us weren't born yet. Right. You know what I mean?
But you got to think people like Mark Sanchez were thankful because now we're not talking about his butt fumble. Now we're talking about the ACL tear and drive 4.
Yeah. Well, no, they'll still bring the butt fumble. Like even with Aaron Rodgers, the whole deal, I still saw the butt fumble clip in all the lexicon of Jets things over the last couple days.
That's a shame.
I was like, because they were talking about Aaron Rodgers, I was like, why is Mark Sanchez's butt back in this clip?
Because it's the lexicon of Jets failure. As if that wasn't hard enough. Now, granted, you guys pulled off the victory, which good on you. That was an impressive opener.
Oh, yeah.
And
here's the thing. So now the guy that's the quarterback was actually the guy they drafted to be the quarterback before Aaron Rodgers showed up. And he was, he's a young guy struggling, and he ain't Aaron Rodgers.
Do you think maybe just like every day he would walk by Aaron Rodgers' Achilles tendon and just kind of like slice it a little bit? Not noticeable, just like with like a piano wire. Just
well, and no, when Aaron Rodgers first signed with the Jets, there was a little banter back and forth between that quarterback, like I'm gonna make training camp hell for him or something. He said something to that. I think he was joking, but he did say something to that effect when Aaron Rodgers was announced that he signed with the Jets and all that. And but no, they've had a good relationship because I saw Hard Knocks, so you can see the lexicon of all that there.
Yeah,
the hype and everything leading up to it, and it got me too. I mean, I drafted Aaron Rodgers. I was like, hey, he's my quarterback. I got a good feeling. I think I didn't think he was going to blow out his Achilles. I was kind of thinking,
nobody does. This is a total freak accident.
I just kind of thought he was going to be a resurgence. The guy still got skills. And I figured new team, new town, new mindset. He's got something to prove. I thought he was going to eat everybody's lunch this year. That's the way that's why I took a flyer on him. I was like, I think this guy's going to eat everybody's lunch. And I think he would have had he not blown out his Achilles in 4 plays into the game. My question is now and a lot of people are saying, will he return? And I'm going to say yes, as long as I think it's good. Like if you asked Aaron Rodgers today and he would answer you, I'd say, yeah, he's going to be back. But I think it really depends on how this Achilles healing process goes, whether it really happens.
We're right, by the way, on the cusp. I was like, how old is Aaron Rodgers? He's 39. He was born December of 83. So he's about to be 40, which means I'm still younger than Aaron Rodgers. That's all that matters. I was just making sure I was younger than who the person I'm saying is,
I'm proud to say I'm 10 years older than
Yeah. But only like 3 older than Tom Brady. He's 46. So, yeah.
There you go. Those young bucks.
That's right.
Well, that's the football. That's the reality of football. We're like, he's old. He's 38. He's not old.
Yeah, Tom Brady has the body of a 27-year-old.
Like, you see this guy in the
he keeps it in his closet and uses the stem cells for feedings.
Yeah. Well, but I'll admit I was on the Aaron Rodgers train too. I was thinking he's going to. I mean, I'm not a fan like marking out, but I was like enough to say I'm
a lot of folks were on the Aaron Rodgers train. Then somebody came along and put a penny on the tracks. Thing went.
Well, but I think it all depends on how the Achilles healing. And now knowing him and how he is, I imagine he'll.
He's going to work through it and get to it.
And the Jets have a lot of money in that, so I'm sure that he's going to get
top men.
Oh yeah, top men. On top of that one, so yes. I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up. Start next season ready to prove a point, because I think he's got to prove a point. Like, I think in his head he's got to say, you know what, I need to win a Super Bowl.
I got to make it through at least first quarter.
Yeah, I got to cement my legacy by bringing a Super Bowl to the Jets. I think, because he's a guaranteed Hall of Famer. Yeah. I mean, he's just all that's going to happen for this guy. He's got enough there, so I think he wants another Super Bowl because he's only got one. He's looking at guys like Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes who have multiple Super Bowls.
Seem odd that he only has the one.
He only has the one.
That's right.
So I think he wants another one. Just my thoughts.
Oh, who doesn't?
Hey, we're going to talk Museum Day here in just a bit. I believe all of our guests are here. I'm not sure. But we're going to have Carolyn Brooks join us with the Roswell Museum and Art Center and Nancy Fleming with the Anderson Museum and the Miniatures Museum talking about Museum Day, which is this Saturday. It's going to be happening pretty much all day, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and we'll talk more about it and all the stuff that's going to be happening and what you can do during Museum Day on Saturday. So we'll talk about that here in just a bit. Later on in the hour, we'll get you up to date with the local news along with your Wall Street business update. We'll try to work that Cowboys report in as well, and whatever else as they take on the Jets on Sunday, an Aaron Rodgers-less Jets. So Cowboys, you kind of got lucked out there a bit. All right, it is 8:15. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have just enough moist air coming into the area for a few showers or thunderstorms later on today. Mix of sun and clouds and upper 80s to about 90s. Scattered showers this evening, cloudy overnight and upper 60s. Then maybe a few afternoon showers and thunderstorms again on Friday. We'll be in the mid 80s. Looks about the same for the weekend. We can expect some afternoon showers and maybe a thunderstorm. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 65 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 78%. Winds currently out of the north at 8 miles per hour. We are looking at a 20% chance. The sun was out earlier, I promise. I saw it. It was there, but it's back cloudy again. We do have a 20% chance for some showers and thunderstorms. They say mostly, try to say mainly and mostly together for this afternoon. They do throw the caveat that some of these storms could produce some heavy rain. So if we get a storm, it might be a doozy. Mostly sunny otherwise, except for now, with a high of 89 today. Winds will be out of the north 5 to 10. 30% chance for rain tonight, mainly after 9 p.m. Again, they say some storms could produce some heavy rainfall. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 63 degrees. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, 30% chance of rain, mainly for the afternoon. Again, some storms could produce heavy rainfall, partly cloudy, and 87 for a high on Friday. Winds will be out of the northeast, 5 to 10. Friday night, might want to bring a poncho if you're going out to the Wool Bowl for the Goddard game. There is a 60% chance of rain, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 65. And then looking at your weekend, 40% chance of rain on Saturday. Good day to be indoors in a museum, perhaps. Partly cloudy otherwise, high of 82. Saturday night, 40% chance of showers, mostly cloudy, and 61 for an overnight low. Sunday, looking at a 30% chance of showers with a high of 84. And Monday, when you head back to work and school, a 30% chance of showers, highs back near 90. All right, 8:17, we're going to take a 2.5-minute commercial break, and then we'll talk Museum Day on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Rosa, have you decided where you're going to college yet?
There's so many choices. I'm still not sure.
Well, I've decided to attend the University of New Mexico. It's the only Research One university in the state. It's the flagship, and their academic programs are among the best in the nation.
The University of New Mexico? Can I still apply?
Of course. UNM is New Mexico's best university, and residents of New Mexico get preference in admission. Apply now, and we'll attend UNM together.
The University of New Mexico, New Mexico's University of Opportunity. Apply today at unm.edu.
Edge Safety and Services LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screen. Edge Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 402 West Main Street inside the Edge Safety and Services facility. Edge Safety and Services LLC is an equal opportunity employer.
Country Club Road Church of Christ will kick off their annual Journeyland program for grades 1st through 6th. Journeyland is a program where we travel through the Bible in 6 years. We will start Sunday, September 10th at 9 a.m. with prophets foretelling of Christ's birth and will end with the parables in April. Our 2 teams consist of the red team, which is 1st grade through the 3rd grade, and our blue team, which consists of the 4th grade through the 6th grade. We welcome all children to join us as we continue traveling through the Bible. We also have our recharge meal every Wednesday night starting September 6th at 5:30. This allows us to fellowship with one another before going into our classes at 6:30. We have Cradle Roll, which is nursery age, preschool, Journeyland program, junior high and high school classes, as well as adult classes that will start at 6:30. Come out and join us starting Wednesday, September 6th for our first recharge meal at 5:30. Have a wonderful, blessed day.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday. Located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
The journey rolls on for your Goddard Rockets, and coming up this Friday night, your Rockets are back home at the Wool Bowl, taking on the Panthers of Piedra Vista High. Fiera 106.1 FM and KSBPTV.com have got you covered. Join Chris Deck and Chris Roybal for the pregame show beginning at 6:45 and kickoff at 7. Rockets versus the Panthers of Piedra Vista High. Friday night beginning at 6:45 on Fiera 106.1 FM and online at KSBPTV.com. Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority, then, now, and always.
The octopus and the squid both have 3 hearts. That's why they eat so many Tums. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 19 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning to talk Museum Day with us, Caroline Brooks, who is with the Roswell Museum and Art Center, and Nancy Fleming with the Anderson Museum and the Miniatures Museum as well. Good morning, ladies. How y'all doing today?
Good morning. Great.
Well, I don't know why this is just now happening. I feel like we should have done this a long time ago. This whole event we got Saturday, this is a long time coming, but
absolutely.
Better late than never. We got it happening this Saturday and this is something that I don't know if people realize that are born and raised here. Roswell is very blessed with museums and an arts and cultural district that a town of this size and most other locations doesn't have this kind of stuff. You'd be lucky to find a museum in a town this size, let alone 7. and they're all awesome, and they all are completely different from each other. They cover different things. I mean, the International UFO Museum's kind of on the map because the whole alien thing, but that's, if that's what kind of gets people's foot in the door to see the rest of it, so be it. But on Saturday, we want to, and this is really geared towards the locals, us, the ones that don't roll into the, whenever family comes into town to take them to the UFO museum or whatever. This is for a chance for you to see what's in your own backyard. And on Saturday, all 7 museums in our community are opening their doors for you to come through and see for free. I'll tell you, there's going to be an order you got to do it a little bit to do that, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But all 7 museums, and by 7 museums, I'm talking about the Roswell Museum and Art Center, the Anderson Museum, also the Miniatures Museum, which is just a block or 2 over from where we're at right now, the International UFO Museum, the Walker Aviation Museum down at the airport there, the museum inside the New Mexico Military Institute, which is a cool museum if you've never seen it. If you ever want to see what a Medal of Honor looks like, they've got one in there. Just telling you. The Anderson Museum.
Historical Museum.
And the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, the J.P. White House here. So we've got the Miniatures, the Anderson, all 7 are part of this thing. Now, on Saturday from 10 to 5, and I'll let these guys talk, I promise. I'm just kind of getting the details of the event. So from Saturday from 10 to 5, if you visit all 7 museums during that time window, and you'll get a passport that you got to get stamped, and then turn that in, you can get entered into a drawing to win a prize that's valued at $700. I don't know about you, but I could use a $700 prize. Now, here's the little caveat. The International UFO Museum charges people to get into its facility. They are letting people in for free if you have the passport, which you can get at any of the other 6 museums. So the rule is visit one of the other 6 first, then make the International UFO Museum second, third, or 7th choice. But don't go there first. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay to get in, and then you can't get your passport stamped. And then you get to see and you get all the cool stuff, but you don't get to get into the drawing here. So I'm kind of curious, how did this all, was it just a matter of getting all the entities on the same page on this, or how did this all come to be?
All right. Well, the Anderson Museum had been part of the Smithsonian Day for probably about 8 years.
Okay.
And all it really means is that we were free, but we were free anyway.
Right.
And we put a fun sign on our door, and we were affiliated then with the Smithsonian Museum because they would do this around the country. Well, this year, they decided to not have Smithsonian Day.
Okay.
So Caroline calls me up and says, let's do our own. And I'm like, dang, that's a great
Brilliant idea.
And here we are. So
So Caroline's kind of the one who threw the idea on the table here and let the ball roll.
And I was on board number 1.
Very
and then
good.
Everyone else pretty much came on board.
So I'm hoping,
after.
is this a tradition? Like, is this the idea is to do this every year, around September sometime?
That's definitely an idea. We've loved working together, planning this event.
Yeah.
And we're just like, well, we might as well just make this every year.
And I imagine the other 4 or 5 museums, because you kind of represent 2, so 4 or 5, 4 of them, we're pretty much on board. Because each one of them have the same goals that you do. You want to get as many people in your buildings and seeing the cool things that make our community, great and home and all that kind of stuff. So, and here's the thing, because I think most people maybe been in one museum or been in, but it was like 5 years ago when Uncle Lou was in town or something.
Or 30 years ago for some people, honestly.
Or 30 years ago.
Never.
Yeah. And so come see it, and I'm telling you, you're going to be blown away at every single museum. You walk to the Roswell Museum and Art Center, I was like, I didn't realize there was that much art in here. I didn't realize, and it changes every few months. So if you went 6 months ago, it's different than if you go in today. It's just that's how the museum is. Obviously, the Anderson Museum, I would argue, is the most eclectic museum in New Mexico. I guarantee you'll find stuff you love in there and stuff you probably won't like. You know what I mean? It's literally everything in there. You're seeing art that's like, I would have never thought to do that with art, to what were they thinking when they did that with, it really is everything, and it's all cool.
Yeah.
So if you've never been to the Anderson, check that out. The Miniatures Museum is just as cool. It's all the same kind of stuff, but this size. It's tiny. And so it kind of has that Ripley's Believe It or Not kind of feel to it a little bit, because if you've ever been in one of those museums and seen like the world's tiniest this and that, it's got that in there. But you can spend hours in there just looking at all the stuff and everything.
Right.
Too.
We really see this as a taste.
Yeah.
We understand that somebody cannot get to all 7 museums, spend the amount of time that they really probably should, 2 hours.
So we're wetting whistles.
This is wetting whistles.
Yeah.
And the Anderson Museum is free all the time. The Miniature Museum, Historical Museum. The Roswell Museum has free days for Roswell.
Yeah, every month they have a free day for locals and everything. And plus you can be a member and get discounts and all kinds of stuff.
Right. And so it really is a way for the community really just to see what we've got, taste it, and then come back.
And I would even offer, like, if you want to volunteer and serve, because I know I'm sure each museum has boards or volunteers that I as a member of the Historical Society, I can guarantee they've got them. And I'm pretty sure the Museum and Art Center, the Anderson and Miniatures do. I know Walker Aviation certainly does. We talk to them every month. NMMI, I imagine, they can, if there's some alum there that probably want to come and help, they probably love to hear from you. So, but anyway, this is your chance to come see this stuff. Come see, just kind of hitting on the other ones. I mean, the International UFO Museum, it kind of speaks for itself. It's got amazing, that's kind of the draw. We want you to see that too, because, and here's the thing, is a lot of it ties, like, like if you go to the like if you want to try to play a little bit of a timeline a little bit, try to work in the International UFO Museum and the Walker Aviation Museum right near each other. That way, because a lot of that history stuff that went on at Walker's in the UFO Museum and vice versa there too.
And think about the Historical Museum,
yes,
the Western collection at the RMAC.
The J.P. White House there at the Historical Society contains a lot of cool stuff. Time period. If you kind of want to see what and let's face it, that home is a very affluent home for its time. Mm-hmm. That if you wanted to see what high society was like at the turn of the century, that home is a perfect example of it. The grand staircase in there is, you're going to be jealous. You wish you had that in your home when you see it. But the porch, just some of the, and I would even challenge, go through the pantries and look at the products and things on there. They're all of the period, the bathrooms. If you really want to see what luxury in 1900 was like, go see that museum. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. They got so much stuff in there. But, and of course, speaking of, I have something. Where'd it go? The Walker Aviation Museum gave me this on loan because the fair is right around now, but this is in their possession. This is a fair book from 1953 for the Eastern New Mexico State Fair.
Oh, fun.
How cool is that? And I was kind of flipping through it and looked through it. But this is the kind of stuff that's in the possession of our museums and things like that. And you get to see the history, not only of art and everything else, but our own backyard history, local history, things like that.
How about our bad habit history? At the Miniatures Museum, we have a objecti habituum, smoking, drinking, gambling, and pills exhibition.
Nice. Well,
yes, comes to your ashtrays from your mother's house.
Well, and that's just it. We got quite the history of Wild West and everything else, and so that's part of the fun too at some of these museums and seeing stuff from old jails or old bars or old establishments of that sort from our time too. It's all the history of our. You don't realize how much cool stuff and if you again back to the historical real quick. If you go get to the archives and stuff, if you need photos of old history and stuff, that's where you find all that for Roswell and this. And here's the cool thing too. And I know this, just all the museums really do. They're separate, but at the same time they're all together and want to work and share and because we all want these. This is what makes our community great. This is the stuff that makes our community great. This is also the stuff that brings others to our community. Yes. When we talk about,
it definitely drives economic development dollars.
Absolutely. When we talk about bringing professionals here, the doctors and the teachers and the police and the people that they're always trying to bring people in to fill the people that come are like, well, why do I want to live in Roswell? And they're going to look at things like, what's there to do in Roswell? And then when they say, we got 7 museums in a town of 50,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tonight I have an event at the Anderson Museum for new doctors, for the medical community. Mm-hmm. It's a private party, but it's held at a museum.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful venue.
By the way, if you're not, the Anderson owns a wonderful piano, a beautiful piano. And every once in a while, we're lucky that someone that's worthy of playing that thing shows up and plays it. And that happens at the Anderson all the time. That's another little just unknown fact that, people that know, but there's a lot of people don't realize. And you've got this beautiful, way expensive piano that, and then some concert folks are like, dude, can I play it? It's like, yeah, you're a pianist. You can play that. You probably shouldn't. But and then of course with the Museum and Art Center, I mean there is so much cool because that's everything from local Roswell history to art history. It's kind of a hodgepodge of everything. You walk into one section and you're all talking local history. You go into another section, we're talking art. We're talking other artifacts of our community and things.
And there's not only historical items and artifacts, but a lot of these museums too. It's new things. So oftentimes people think museums are just an archive, a clearinghouse for all these old objects. But there's so much contemporary art, new ideas that come in. And even Walker Aviation, they have flight simulators.
Yes.
So they might have the old stuff from the Walker.
And they're going to let you do all that. Their mission's kind of turned, obviously to preserving and the actual Air Force Base and talking about our role in the Cold War era. But they're very much into STEM and working with a lot of the companies out at the air terminal that hire people. And so they're young people, old people, anybody that's into learning. Maybe you want to get a pilot's license, or maybe you're a younger person that wants a career in aviation mechanics or that. Walker Aviation Museum. Matter of fact, they do a deal where you can that flight simulator you tried out on Saturday. But if you take their little training videos and stuff, you kind of get like a library card.
Cool.
And then when you have free time, you go in there and say, flash that, and then you can go and train on that thing. And it actually counts towards pilot hours. Like if you're trying to get your pilot license, who thought you could actually get your pilot license by walking into a museum? That's what we're talking about here. So you make a very good point.
Museums have changed so much over the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
It's not just about that experience of, again, the old things, but it's like inspiring our youth, inspiring people of all ages, bringing in new ideas and perspectives that you might not have otherwise had. You know what? I would even, if you're going to make a day out of this and have some fun with it, while you're hitting all 7 museums, make it a chance to, like when you're at the Roswell Museum and Art Center, walk around there and see some of the history, the Arroyos and stuff, some of the German POW stuff, all that's right in these areas too. That's Roswell history. You look, go out to Cahoon Park and see that stone, those rock wall. That was all done, the POW stuff. That's all part of Roswell history. So while you're hitting the museums, see some of the landmark places that are little known or very well known, depending on the families here in our community too. So
and we're giving you incentives to come.
Yes.
And there's another incentive that you didn't.
Did I mention yet? Okay. But wait, there's more.
All right, there's more. So at each museum, there is a swag bag.
All right.
But not just that museum's swag.
Okay.
It includes swag from every museum.
Okay.
But at that museum, it might have more. Like at the Miniature Museum, we've added something. And at the Anderson Museum, we've added something.
So it's like a swag bag. You get it all 7, but each one has their own unique flair in it.
Correct.
So you want to make sure you get all 7 because they're not the same.
At each museum, there will be tickets that you put your name and number on.
Okay.
And then you will be entered into that drawing for that swag bag. So you want to do that at all 7 museums.
Okay.
At the same
time. So you can
time.
win a boatload of prizes if you play your cards right.
Because we are super clever about how we're doing this. So then if you've gone to all 7, then you've gotten your passport either with stickers or punches, then you actually earn a museum nerd button.
Ah, nice.
This is the consolation prize if you don't win the big prize.
But collector swag nonetheless.
Collector swag.
Yeah.
And I want to thank the City of Roswell Marketing for designing our brochures and our postcards and our posters and the buttons. I just appreciate that so much.
Absolutely.
So you get your button, then you get entered to win the prize worth $700.
And the real prize is you get to go and see and experience all 7 of these movies. I guarantee you're going to learn something on Saturday. If you go and do this and hit all 7, you go, I did not realize that was here in town, or I did not know this about our community, or I've never seen anything that cool in my life, and it's sitting right here in our own backyard. And
so I have 2 things to say.
Okay.
1, please be patient if there's big crowds.
We're hoping it's busy. That's the idea.
Some of these museums aren't as big as, let's say, the Roswell Museum or the Anderson.
The Walker Aviation Museum is literally in the airport. You see all of it as you walk into it, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And we want people to be able to, not bump into each other and bump into the exhibits and break something. So we want everybody to just be mindful.
Yeah, don't pull in China shop it either. The Miniatures Museum and the Roswell Museum and Art Center and the Anderson Museum have artifacts that we don't want you knocking over.
Yes, and then that's my second is please don't touch.
Yes.
There, within every museum, there probably are a few things that you can touch, and you will be told that you can touch it. Everything else, don't touch.
Yeah. Well, and like speaking for the Anderson, I know for like some of the exhibits, they want you to touch it to get the texture and get the
We have
thing.
one.
You do. But
We have one.
It's right prominent right there. So touch it. Touch it all you want.
We have one. And there's a reason for that.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's why the Anderson will blow people because it's I mean all these museums are awesome, but that one's got the most like eclectic things of it's so like you could see something uber conservative religious and then next thing you know something that's just completely fantasy.
Well, it's 56 years of contemporary art, and the artist who made them had come to Roswell for a year And it's an
Love it.
amazing program thanks to Donald B. Anderson.
But it evokes such great, because thought-provoking stuff. Because some you're like, and then you look at it like, I didn't like it at first. And then you start looking more, it's like, now I get it. All right.
Yeah. And the secret is you don't have to like everything, to be honest.
Yeah.
But again, the more you find out about it, usually your opinion will change.
Sure, exactly.
And it's about dialogue. I mean, any of these museums are going to incite dialogue. Interest in dialogue and materials and everything that.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe it puts you onto something that you never realized, or especially through art. People like to raise awareness for their passions through art. And so maybe that'll put you onto some of that. And it's like, maybe there's a piece of art that's devoted, I don't know, domestic violence or something, and it just hits you a certain way. It's like, I need to do more about it. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. That's how you get inspired to do things.
And you never know until you walk through the door.
Yeah.
And like for museums, we have to protect the artwork, right? So we don't have a lot of windows because we can't let sunlight on the
art.
artwork to expose
Unfortunately,
it.
is very sensitive to light and temperatures and things like that.
Yeah.
So you got to keep it in optimal condition. So long after we're not here, they're available for people.
But as soon as you walk through the door, you're going to be wowed.
It is. It's really cool. I mean, it's just every single museum you're going to find stuff that you're just like, I did not realize it. And that's why it's really hard, because there's so many, all 7 of them. And like I finally been into the New Mexico Military Institute, the museum, this summer. It was the first time I ever got to go into it, and it's really cool. If you've never been into that one, it's the whole history. If you love famous celebrities, there's all kinds of memorabilia from Roger Staubach to other world leaders that have done stuff with NIMI and all that. Like I said, there's a actual Medal of Honor in there. You don't see those laying around except for in museums or in private collections very often. So
that brings me to how to park. I was going to go ahead and plug.
Yes.
To get to the McBride Museum, take Kentucky.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably your best bet.
It is. And then go to Honor. That's this. You do not try to Google Honor. It's not Googleable.
Yeah.
But take North Kentucky to Honor.
Yes.
Park in the parking lot that's, off Honor. And then you will follow the signs. They're going to have great signage to Luna Hall.
And don't worry, if you park in the wrong spot and get lost, they'll probably could tell and be like, oh, we need to help that person, get them over to By the way, if you get lost on the campus, it's an open campus to walk around. You're going to probably stumble into some other cool stuff because it's a beautiful campus, especially if you've never walked it or been on it. And I know they've been doing a lot of renovations to the dorms and bathroom facilities over the summer here. So there might be a few remnants of construction going on, but the museum, it's kind of right in the heart of the campus there. Just like Nancy was saying, just get down that Honor Street and get in the parking lot. But
and then you'll see the sign.
If you mess it up and park in another one, no biggie. Just you get to hike a little bit, which may not be a bad thing.
Yeah. And I'd like to do a shout out to June, Amy, Caroline, Robert, Juliana, Nancy, Elaine, Caroline, and Karen and Kat for helping to organize Museum Day.
They are a collective group of volunteers, all probably representing from their various museums and things, but all coming together to do to make this event happen. And I'm telling you, this is really cool. A lot of fun. Free tours, like you said, flight stuff down at the Walker Aviation Museum. The cool winning these prizes,
photo opportunities.
Yeah. But as we said at the beginning, to get the passport, that's going to be available at every museum except the International UFO Museum. And a matter of fact, that's the only museum that actually charges on a daily basis to get into the museum.
We do too now.
Oh, that's right,
after
museum,
82
except
years
for
of being free.
Except for the free weekends and all that.
Exactly.
Sorry,
yeah. That's okay.
I've been here a few years and I forget that part. But same with the zoo, by the way.
Which they're free again.
Good deal. They're free again.
Yes, they are.
Tried to.
I missed that meeting. But generally, those are free. But here's the thing: the passports you can get at any of the other 6. And then you can get in free at the International UFO Museum, but you got to show them the passport because that's the only way they know you're participating. Otherwise, they're going to think you're just a tourist or
right.
part of
And
the
they're
group.
going to mark it. Don't just show it to them. Have them either cut, sticker, stamp, whatever
Otherwise,
they're going to do.
You can't get into the drawing without the proof you were there.
You do not have to go to them in any order at whatever museum you end up at.
Yeah.
Even if your last one is the UFO Museum, then you will sign the bottom of the passport. We will cut it off. And then we are bringing it to the Roswell Museum at 5 o'clock. The drawing for the grand prize will be around 5:30 because Walker has a bit of a drive to come down.
It does take a minute. They are at the south end.
You can make this in any order. do the museums in any order you want,
except for
UFO Museum.
Don't go
cannot be
there first. Yeah, don't go there first. That's the only thing. But then you can get your passport and go. And I invite you to bring your whole family to do this. Grab the kids, grab mom and dad, grab grandma and grandpa.
But don't let the kids touch anything.
Yeah, don't touch anything. Be supervised, especially if they're gonna hit a museum right after lunch and they still got like sticky fingers. You don't really want that. But bring the whole family. If the weather's a little inclement, that's might even be even better. Come in and spend an extra few minutes in the museum while you wait for the rainstorm to calm down a little bit and see a few more things.
Roswell's weather is very conducive because it's either too hot, too cold, too windy.
Perfect. A lot of opportunities to be in air-conditioned comfort in various facilities and things.
That's right.
But I'm telling you, you're going to be blown away at every single location. Even if you've been there before, you're probably going to. Even the International UFO Museum, if you've been in there 100 times, you're still going to see things new in there. Every time I go in there, and like everyone else, it's usually when family's in town or a work thing or something, and it's different every time.
And they added new displays in the last few years.
Yeah, they got a little high tech in there with some of the interactive stuff and all that kind of thing, and as is some of the other museums too. I think Walker Aviation Museum's got some interactive stuff too.
Simulators are definitely interactive.
Absolutely, those are definitely you're touching those, and plus I think they have like a Jacob's Ladder and some of the other tools that they teach STEM, like electricity, things like that. So it's stuff for younger kids to kids that are aren't supposed to be kids anymore. They got everything. So it's and in the Miniatures Museum, I'm telling you, you're gonna, if you've never been in there, that one's gonna really blow you away the first time you go in there.
Our biggest draw at the moment is playing House of the Rising Sun on the player piano.
Oh,
it is
cool.
Amazing.
That's a good song too. There's a lot,
You should hear the rendition on the player piano. It is.
But it really is just full of curiosities and just stuff that you're like, wow. I mean,
from big to small. I've got a big cat covered with bottle caps and another one covered with cigar bands.
And it evokes thoughts. You're probably like, what inspired the person to do this, or what? You know what I mean? That's where half the time you're thinking, that is so incredible. Or
a lot of it's history. Because if you see the miniatures, they're representing history.
Sure.
Like the Historical Society is the big house of that history. And then we have a little miniature house of the history. So, yes, it's all overlapping and connected and related and wonderful.
You should get sponsorships from optometrists. Like, I feel like your museum be like, sponsored by so-and-so optometrist.
That's clever. Yeah. But I will do a shout-out, though, for Pioneer Bank, who's also supporting our events.
Well, we mentioned Juliana.
Yes, we did.
She's involved in so many things in our community.
They helped with printing all our materials and promotions.
Good deal.
So, really great.
They were the one that got a lot of the logistics that cost money and time to get done. They were taken care of.
Absolutely.
And we much appreciate that kind of stuff. So, again, it's this Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Officially gets underway at 10. So at 10 a.m., make sure you're at the doors of one of the 7 or one of the 6, except for the International. Don't be there first. Go to one of the other ones first, and then spend the rest of the day just hitting at your pace. There you got till 5 o'clock. So you got about 7 hours to hit all 7 museums. So do your math. That's about an hour of travel time. And if you want to kind of, parse it out and down, and then you can work. All right, we got from noon to 12:17 to eat lunch, and then we're going to be hitting. We'll be, for downtown, we'll be right near the Miniatures Museum. So we'll hit there next, and then we'll go. That's plan accordingly, but come have fun and come be prepared to see stuff. Maybe get some walking shoes, because you're going to be seeing a lot of. You're going to collectively, you're going to hit a few miles of hiking, I think, between all the different museums. Some are bigger than others, like the Roswell Museum and Art Center and the Anderson Museum. Going to take a few minutes because there's some acreage there. But Walker Aviation Museum, you can pretty much stand there and see it all, but you're going to have to move to get into the actual reading and all that stuff, because there's a lot of little things to look there too. Not miniature size, but little stuff too.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of details.
It's fun. You're going to have so much fun and seeing this cool stuff. And I think at the end of the day, you're going to realize how cool this community really is. For all those people that say there's nothing going on, nothing to do, what is there for young people to do? What is there for old people to do? What is there for kids to do? Everything that people say, I'm like, lots. If you get your head out of your tail and look around. There's all kinds of stuff every weekend. If whatever you're into, I mean, there's almost always live music at restaurants and things every single night almost, let alone every weekend in town. There's plenty of things to do. And the museums are always got stuff going on. And like you said, the Museum and Art Center has their special Saturdays for locals and kids crafts and things for them, just to bring the kids in and come and do crafts and
partner
things.
with the school district. We have a family after hours coming up in September. Yeah,
there's constantly things that are going on in the community, especially the ones that are, those city sponsor ones that they kind of, like at the Aquatic Center and at the Mizzou and the other city facilities. There's always, almost every weekend at one of the three, usually there's something going on at one of the three there. So get your families involved, get involved with it stuff, and then volunteer. I'm sure you walk up to Carol on Saturday at the Roswell Museum and say, I love this. I want to be a member, which they'd be like, we'd be happy to do that. And same with Anderson or any of those. If you want to get involved, talk with the people at the museums. If one of the seven just kind of blow you away more than the others, you're like, I want to be involved with this. I want to see how the sausage is made. I want to get involved and reach out. Every single one will probably say, we got a place for you to do something here or an interest or we always want people interested in what we do. That's what and by that expanding it to the next generations. And I know, like Historical Society, I'll do that plug since they're always looking for docents and things and volunteers to when we do the fourth grade tours and those kind of things. There's an army of people that are needed to make those events happen. So if, when you're Saturday, talk to Amy over there. She'll be happy to tell you more about some of the things and all the stuff there too. And by the way, if you're looking for books, that's a plug. I'm going to do that plug. All of them, the museums have a place you can get books and stuff. I know at the Historical Society, a lot of those are local authors that talk about. So if you want books on Billy the Kid or Roswell, local history, a lot of that you'll find there. I'm sure you'll find those at the other museums too as well. So do a little shopping at some of the. If you're looking for, if you get in the museum and you're like, man, I love that artifact, but I kind of want to. I want to kind of go a couple layers down. Go in the gift store. You'll probably find some books or some materials that will let you do some digging.
Which is another way to support us. So
yes.
those profits then go towards supporting our museums.
Yeah, exactly. Every time you buy a book in a museum, that's going to keep the lights on, going to keep the museum open, and paying for that activity that the kids get to come and do. That's what that kind of stuff does. So you're supporting by becoming members of these various museums or.
Get on their mailing list.
Get on the mailing list, shopping and supporting. And by the way, holidays are right around the corner. Probably find some pretty sweet gifts for some folks there too, if you're a advanced planner and those kind of things. I will throw one more in that's not part of this, but equally as cool. Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge. If you go out there and anytime, visit their gift store too, because they got a lot of educational, nature-y stuff. And all that supports the Friends of Bitter Lake and the conservation projects out there. So if you are looking for another place to shop for gifts, I'll add the Bitter Lake gift store to your list of shopping places here. So very cool. Hey, that's a nice one. That happens all the time on the radio. Some are a little more in your face. That one's kind of nice.
Time's up. That's it. We're beaming up to,
there you go. That's right. It's
to
like,
our museums.
The timer's clicked. But again, it's this Saturday, 10 to 5. Don't forget, free tours, free simulators, free activities. Every single museum. Sign up for your chance to get the swag bags. Every single location will have a place for you to turn in an entry for the drawing. Don't forget to pick up the passport and get it stamped or signed at all 7 locations, and then turn them in at your 7th location. And then they're gonna book all those up to the Roswell Museum and Art Center after 5 o'clock on Saturday, and somebody's going to win that $700 prize and each of the swag bags at the various locations too. So we'll do all of the above there. But don't forget, it's the Roswell Museum and Art Center, the Miniatures and Curiosities Museum, the International UFO Museum, the Walker Aviation Museum, the McBride Museum at the New Mexico Military Institute campus, the Anderson Museum, and the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico there on Lee Street. All 7 entities, all of our museums, one day only, this Saturday. Bring the whole family. Free, doesn't cost you anything. But don't forget, don't go to the International UFO Museum first. Go there 2nd or 7th or 5th or something in between. Visit any of one of the other 6 first to get your passport. And then you will get into for free at the International UFO Museum if you show them the passport. That's the only way you get in free. If you don't tell them anything about it, they're going to look at you like, $5, please. But if you say, I got my passport, come on in, we'll stamp it for you. Enjoy our museum. And then they might point you to some other artifacts and things to check out. So, good deal. Is there anything we wanted to cover, anything we wanted to share about anything, or anything about your particular museums, or anything we want to
We're going through renovations at our museum.
Okay.
It's going to be in several phases. We're getting new flooring, so
Good deal.
hardwoods put in our galleries instead
So
of
be a little
carpet.
patient if you run into a few rooms that are not quite ready for the public.
But they're also kind of cool because it has the plastic wrap up, and so you can see the inner workings of our joists and the floors and all the work that they're
that'll
doing.
pique your curiosity.
Yeah.
What's going on back there?
Exactly. Yeah. And we also have several events coming up. So Family After Hours on September 28th, which again, we partner with the school district, the Arts Connect program. We have the Roswell Science and Art Festival on October 14th, and that's the day of the eclipse.
Oh, good deal.
So we'll have some NASA scientists out there and lots of fun activities. Yes, we'll have free glasses to give out.
Good deal.
So those are some of our highlights.
Yeah, I mean, I think any museum who has an upcoming event is going to have that pro mode.
Yes.
Like we have postcards for the Susan Dopp Show that's at the Roswell Museum
Cool.
on October 6th.
Again, more of that synergy partnership stuff we talk about.
Yeah. So we'll have more stuff.
Yeah, every
We've got,
museum's probably going to have. I know the Historical Society, they're getting ready for their Books and Blooms event.
We've got a video.
Heritage Dinner in November.
The artists in residence have a video showing coming up next Thursday at Galaxy 8.
Cool.
So we're going to have flyers for our different items and for our memberships and signups. And
So if you play your cards right on Saturday, we just filled your dance card for the next few weeks afterwards, too.
Couple months.
Yeah.
Again, back to that point I was saying earlier. You think there's nothing to do in town? There's a ton of stuff to do in town. Just you gotta put your head up and look around and see it. It's there. It's all kinds of stuff.
Well, people need a reason. People need a reason to come to things, and so we've made all of the museums available like this because it gives them a reason.
Yeah.
And if they miss it, it's okay. They at least know. Okay, I do know there's 7 museums now. They were coming together to do a thing, and they're going to do it next year.
And it gives you excuse to hit them in between, like you said. So if you come out to the Roswell Museum Art Center on Saturday and you see that one room that's kind of under construction and plastic,
go find out what they're going to
come see us in a month and you see what's behind the curtain there.
Absolutely. Yep.
Come see it. That gives you excuse to come back and see it there. And same thing with any other museums. One area's closed off. Oh, you'll just have to come back later and come visit. We'd love to have you do that. But
things are always changing.
Yeah, come be a part. Come see. This is your community. This is you. This is us. This is
Roswell's
This is Roswell. You want to see what you are? Saturday's your day to do it. Go come out and see and have fun. I guarantee you're gonna walk into at least one of these museums and be completely blown away and did not realize this was in your own backyard. So you're probably going to do it 7 times, but at least once, I guarantee. Ladies, thank you very much. I'm sure you got a few fires to stomp out and get ready for Saturday and just the regular day-to-day business of running a museum. So we'll let you guys go back to do that. And anytime you guys have events, things, we'd love to get you guys. Yeah, reach out. We'll say, hey, I know with the Museum and Art Center, maybe once a month or so we pop in just to say, hey, and every time the Anderson or the Miniatures Museum has an event or just put people on the radar and say, hey, come see us from time to time. We always got stuff going on. So anytime, love to have you guys back and telling people what fun stuff we got going on here. So
Thank you, Mike.
Anytime. All right, 8:55. I got to shut up to pay commercials because I do a lot of free stuff, but I got to pay for those to eat lunch. So we're going to do the Cowboys report. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I got to do that too. And then we'll play a quick break. Don't go away.
Hey everyone, with your Cowboys report, I'm Christy Scales. One of Dak Prescott's weapons in the passing game has shown up on the injury report. We'll check on the status of wide receiver Brandon Cooks heading into Sunday's home opener against the Jets right after this.
Becky Hammond on being the first woman to coach in the NBA.
What if it's no big deal that I'm a woman? What if it's about striving for excellence and being the best me without the label?
It's not about where others say you should be. It's about where you want to go. It's about a financial services company that focuses on your measures of success. Whether it's for your home or business, we offer personalized and expert advice to help you achieve your unique goals.
Visit swbc.com for financial services without the labels.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Sunday's home opener against a very stingy Jets defense that totaled 3 interceptions in their opening win Monday night is going to be tough for the Cowboys offense. And the fact that receiver Brandon Cooks is a new addition to the injury report with a sore knee isn't good news. Hopefully he's able to practice today because, as Cooks points out, the Jets can't focus on CeeDee Lamb or Michael Gallup when the Dallas receiving trio is at full strength.
You know, I was joking the other day. I mean, you got to choose one. If we both on the same side, that safety got to choose one. And, you know, he chooses to stay over top of me on something, then CeeDee wide open. And then you got Gallup on the back. So we all complement each other.
Cooks had 2 catches this past Sunday in his Dallas debut. That's today's Cowboys Report. I'm Christy Scales.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. U.S. consumer prices increased by the most in 14 months in August as the cost of gasoline surged, but the annual rise in underlying inflation was the smallest in nearly 2 years, likely giving the Federal Reserve cover to leave interest rates unchanged next Wednesday. Holiday sales in the United States are estimated to grow at their slowest pace in 5 years, as dwindling household savings and worries over the economy prompt consumers to spend judiciously. Delta Airlines and United Airlines were ordered by a federal judge to face a consumer antitrust class action, accusing major U.S. carriers of conspiring to drive up domestic airfares by reducing the number of available seats. Oil prices were near flat on Wednesday after earlier hitting a 10-month high as a surprise build in U.S. crude inventories offset expectations of tight crude supply for the rest of the year. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Need new windows for your home? Beware of the sales gangster. Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing and Windows here. A sales gangster is a window salesperson with the mobster mentality. They intimidate, bully, and fast talk you into buying their less than quality windows during a 3-hour pitch. Think I'm kidding? Call a few window companies and see for yourself. Or you can skip the sales gangsters and call Trustmark. We have fair, no-nonsense pricing on our premium windows, and our appointments take only about 60 to 75 minutes. Just long enough to listen to what you need, show you your options, answer your questions, and give you a straightforward quote. Then it's up to you. We can take a no just as easy as a yes, but I'll guarantee you this: no sales gangsters. Sound fair? Call Trustmark Roofing and Windows for your no-obligation spring window assessment. 575-755-7663 or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Your home for Sean Hannity in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Deadline fast approaching. An auto workers' strike is looking more likely. The UAW president says offers from the Detroit automakers have so far missed the mark. From coastal North Carolina up to Maine, the East Coast bracing for a brush with Hurricane Lee, expected to make some big waves this weekend.
It should pass west of Bermuda later today or tonight, and then move near but east of the New England coastline as we get into Friday night and Saturday.
The National Hurricane Center's Daniel Brown.
We want folks not to really be focusing on the exact track of the storm, as these winds and rainfall impacts are going to extend very far from the center. That leaves a very big hurricane.
And a hurricane watch in place for portions of Maine, while a large area of coastal New England is under a tropical storm watch. The Obama-era DACA program, it blocks deportation of hundreds of thousands of immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children, has once again been ruled illegal by a federal judge.
U.S. District Judge Andrew Hanen on Wednesday agreed with Texas and 8 other states suing to stop the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA program. The ruling is ultimately expected to be appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Correspondent Keith Peters. The White House has fired off a memo to the press, writing that it's time for the media to ramp up its scrutiny of House Republicans for opening an impeachment inquiry that the Biden team claims is based on lies. But Republicans say there is an abundance of evidence in the form of whistleblowers, emails, and even statements by the president himself justifying the inquiry. On Wall Street this morning, stocks in positive territory. Right now, the Dow is up 240 points. The Nasdaq Composite Index ahead 103, and the S&P trading 30 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
The UN envoy for Sudan has resigned, warning that the conflict between Sudan's two military leaders could be turning into an all-out civil war.
Volker Perthes was a key mediator after the conflict began, but the military government claimed he was biased and in June declared him persona non grata. In a speech at the UN, he announced his resignation. Perthes added that it has been 5 months since tensions between Sudan's military and the paramilitary rapid support forces burst into open fighting.
The fighting shows no sign of abating, while neither side appears close to a decisive military victory.
He also said over 5,000 people died since then, with over 12,000 wounded. I'm Karen Chamas.
Mediterranean storm Daniel has devastated eastern Libya. The mayor of the city of Derna fears the death toll will exceed 20,000. News and analysis, townhall.com. Well, the trademark stopwatch will still announce the show as 60 Minutes, but change is in the air, and we will see it in the coming months.
For 6 episodes this fall, the long-running CBS News magazine will become 90 Minutes. It will expand on certain nights where CBS is broadcasting an NFL doubleheader, which often delays its traditional 7 p.m. start on Sunday nights on the East Coast. The show's executive producer, Bill Owens, says he was asked to make the extra time by CBS management even before the Hollywood strikes made new programming scarce. The show starts a new season on Sunday. John Scott report.
Lawyers for impeached Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton are launching their defense today in the trial that will determine whether the Republican should be removed from office. Paxton, suspended from office pending the trial's outcome, is not required to attend the proceedings. He has not appeared in the Senate since testimony began last week. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy Thursday. Yes. Welcome to almost the end of the week.
Indeed.
When the sun's back out.
Yeah, a little bit. It's peaking.
Yeah, but I think we get a lot of that.
Yeah. A little bit of clouds, a little bit of sun, a little bit of clouds, and then you get a little bit of sun.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get some clouds. And I'm just doing what they're doing over here.
Dan. A little country, a little rock and roll.
That's right.
But, yeah. Enjoy your Thursday. Hope you are, at least at this point. If not, still early.
Plenty of time to turn that frown upside down, people. If you hit a moment when you're just down, when you're just not, Mike, earmuffs, when you're just not feeling good about yourself, remember, Aaron Rodgers blew out his Achilles tendon in the 4th play of his first game. I'm saying.
He's a Packer player. That's why he is such
Mike, earmuffs off.
Hey, I do want to save the date yet.
Oh.
September the 28th. Save the date for the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association Candidate Forum. It's going to take place at 5:30 p.m. on the 28th at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center. The plan, I think they've got almost everybody on board. I know they're working that angle, but all the city council candidates,
yep,
and school board candidates well will be there for the candidate forum. It is free, open, and encouraged by the public to attend. We should be streaming it on our stuff, ksvptv.com, and playing on the radio and all that. I need to seal that up with our folks, but that's the plan. And then, but love to be there. And then here's something I'll tell you. From my past experience at other candidate forums, you learn a lot watching the video and seeing it. Very good resource.
Sure.
Highly recommend it. But go there because you see the stuff that the video don't pick up. You see the side stuff. You see people's reactions that aren't on camera. You see, you get a better reaction to what the crowd's reacting to the things being said by whatever candidates up there at the time.
It's absolutely the way to experience it because you can also be a part of it. And
part of it by listening. You don't get to answer.
Yeah, no. But I mean, but you get to be a part of that actual discourse and witness what happens.
And usually you do like door prizes and things, little swag. So there's incentive to just be there in the audience too. But
if you can't make it,
we will have it.
The absolute best way, besides being there live, is ksvptv.com.
Roger Dodger. Chili Willy Millie Vanilli. You just watch Hot Shots,
I did. I certainly did. That was. All right, let's see what he goes.
Runway 3030 something is full.
I was told now I have to get part due for a group watch.
Oh yeah, because that's the bullet throwing scene.
Yeah,
part two, where they do the kill count, and they're like, beats Rambo, beats this.
Yeah.
And there's one scene where he literally grabs a bunch of bullets out of an ammo case, throws it at people,
and knocks out a whole field of
20
people.
guys just drop.
The bloodiest movie ever. That's still to this day a quote that I've heard on multiple pieces of your production of War. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And the other one that makes me laugh every time, because Rowan Atkinson makes an appearance in that one. And he's actually the person that's captured in a tower that they got to get. And they tied my laces.
Double knotted. Bastards. Yeah, it's so good. Or has to stop for a drink of water. If you've never seen Hot Shots Part 2, it
not
really
very cold.
It's
the water fountain
cold.
complains not very cold.
You really do need to go back and watch that movie. It is absolutely a classic. And a group watch especially because, you'll pick up on stuff.
Yeah, I love that movie. Love a good funeral. I suppose you're wondering what's wrong with my pants.
Oh, gosh.
How are you, sir? Hawaii? I'm supposed to be in California.
I actually watched a TikTok. The scene, the breakfast scene in Pardue, the way they did that, they built a ceramic stovetop and designed it to look like a female stomach.
Really?
That's how they cooked the breakfast. It was on a ceramic top, like it was a shine top. Yeah, they made it like specifically look like a
For
stomach.
the cooking of the bacon and egg scene with Charlie Sheen and I can't remember the actress's name.
I can't either.
In
another movie with a moving mole. I forgot about that.
I haven't looked or checked any of this stuff, but you said you watched a couple of that Lioness show.
Yeah, I've seen like an episode and a half.
Okay, I'm not sure if the character's in the first episode and a half, but in the Lioness show, there's a girl that's like the main dude's fiance, and the agent is becoming friends with her to get in. That's that girl. I don't know for sure, but I feel like that girl is the daughter of the girl from Hot Shots. Because if you look at them, their eyes and everything are very similar. Like I kept saying, why does she look familiar? And it dawned on me, she looks a lot like the lady from Hot Shots. Obviously, it's not her,
right?
But I'm wondering if it's a daughter or relation.
Trying to
of some
find
kind.
the cast
because she kind of has that same little that accent. Her eyes look a lot like that lady's eyes from Hot Shots. It's very like I see those eyes and I see the same person. And I'm not sure if it is or they just look alike. But I that was something I watched that Lioness and I was thinking, man, she looks a lot like her face and her eyes are very similar to the lady from Hot Shots.
The scene I saw, I think it's the girl that you're talking about. She's like has to like take out this like terrorist.
Not her, but the friend, the lady she's befriending. Who's actually the fiance of the person she's taking out?
Right. That other girl. You know what? You might not be wrong. I would have to look that up and try to cross-reference the lineage or the people.
Yeah,
you might be onto something there.
I just when I look at her, man, she looks like it could be her daughter.
It's kind of like how you weirdly see Ethan Hawke in Ethan Hawke's daughter, like the girl from Next Karate Kid.
Well, I didn't even say like
Stranger Things.
When
Next Karate Kid.
Colin Hanks. Every time I cannot not see Tom Hanks. Every time I look at Colin.
I know. But then you go look at Chet Hay.
It all goes away.
It's gone.
But there's certain things that, especially when Colin Hanks does a comedy and he'll say something in a certain way, I'm like, man, that sounds just like Tom Hanks and Splash.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That is one of the funniest case studies in parenting that could possibly exist. If you're Tom Hanks's kids, you either go Colin Hanks or you go Chet Hayes. I can't reach that far. The dude was walking around with the Jamaican patois for like a year. He's like, Mbamba Claude. Lord of mercy. He was like just doing it.
Well, his dad's an actor. He's got deep range.
Oh, is that it? He was just showing off his range. Which, weirdly, when he's actually in stuff, because he's an actor too, he's not bad.
Yeah? Well,
he's been in a couple of Tom Hanks movies, and he's not bad.
I was say he should have the DNA in his chops there. You know, the chops in his DNA.
But boy, he just went a whole different way. Hashtag white boy summer.
Be honest, I think Sean keeps Chet Hanks alive in my head because I wouldn't even know what he's up to. Sean.
It's okay. So I'm. This is a real pullback of the curtain. I'm re-listening to the show that I listened to years ago. It's like re-listening to from the beginning, and they're in the Chet Hayes years. It was because they were. It was when he started like coming out and becoming a thing.
That's when he was doing his thing.
Yeah, 2016 we'll call it.
Good
Give
time.
or take. It was a good year.
It was a good time.
Good year. Before the world knew what pandemic was.
That's right. Did you say pan or Pam? Let me give you the rundown for this hour. We're going to get you updated with the weather here in just a bit. And then shortly thereafter, we're going to play our interview we had yesterday. We had Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum, Jennifer Cole. Also had Dr. Porter Cottrell, the principal. By the way, Roy, whoever put up our video, they spelled principal the other way on one of our things. The first one is right with the AL, like pal, but the other one is spelled PLE, which is not the principal that Dr. Porter Cottrell is. So anyway, I just reminded myself of that when I saw that thing on there. But anyway, So we'll play that interview. They talk about the last school board meeting and just give an update what's going on in the RISD. So that we'll play for you in just a few minutes. And then later on, we'll get you up to date with news of the local variety and whatever else we can come up with. Before we do any of that, though, weather time. Weather time. Yeah.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have just enough moist air coming into the area for a few showers or thunderstorms later on today. Mix of sun and clouds and upper 80s to about 90s. Scattered showers this evening, cloudy overnight and upper 60s. Then maybe a few afternoon showers and thunderstorms again on Friday. We'll be in the mid 80s. Looks about the same for the weekend. We can expect some afternoon showers and maybe a thunderstorm. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 65 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 90% with winds out of the north at 9 miles per hour. We are looking at a 20% chance at showers and thunderstorms for this afternoon. They say some storms could be severe, produce some heavy rainfall there. Mostly sunny and 89 for a high today. North winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. 30% chance at showers and thunderstorms for tonight, mainly after 9 p.m. Some of those storms could produce heavy rainfall, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 63 degrees, southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms for Friday, mainly for the afternoon. Again, some storms could produce some heavy rainfall, partly cloudy, and a high of 87 on Friday. Winds will be out of the northeast 5 to 10. Friday night, but late after midnight, we're looking at a 60% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy. 65 for an overnight low with southeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. And then for the weekend, 40% chance of rain for Saturday, partly cloudy with a high of 82. North winds at around 10 miles per hour. 40% chance of rain for Saturday night as well. 30% chance of rain on Sunday, partly cloudy and 84 for a high. 30% chance of rain Monday afternoon, mostly sunny, highs back near 90. All right. 18 minutes after 9 o'clock, we're going to take a 2.5 or about 3-minute break, and then we'll play our interview with Jennifer Cole and Dr. Porter Control. Don't go away. We'll be back on the other side.
A night of music that'll bring you joy. Compassion presents We Are Messengers, Where the Joy Is tour. With special guest Cochran and Company. And Ben Fuller. Sunday, October 15th in Carlsbad at Walter Gerald's Performing Arts Center. We Are Messengers, Where the Joy Is tour with Cochran and Company and Ben Fuller. Tickets are available now at wearemessengersmusic.com.
I'm amazed at just how different our store looks from a year ago. Hi, this is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture. It's been a long time coming, but our showrooms are absolutely filled with beautiful new items. Gorgeous power reclining furniture for your living room, cozy bedroom suites and mattresses, and stylish new dining room tables and dinettes. I'll bet we have exactly what you're looking for. So hurry to Glenn's Furniture at the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
A good night's sleep is so important, and issues like sleep apnea make falling asleep and staying asleep nearly impossible, but we can help. I'm Dr. Sarah Usher at Carabelli Dental. With the help of a simple oral appliance, your sleepless nights could be a thing of the past. But don't take my word for it, just ask Lainey.
My name is Lainey Smith. I wasn't surprised when I found out I had sleep apnea simply because I had a horrible sleep pattern. I attempted to use the machine and it drove me nuts and I could not sleep with it. And then that's when Dr. Agar told me about the oral appliance. I would suspect I've been using it for 2 years now. In all of that time, I've had less than 10 poor nights of sleep. It's a complete game changer. I feel a lot better because I sleep.
This simple appliance can change your life. Call us today to set up your appointment so you can finally get the good night's sleep you need.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell, or call 575-622-4455. Edge Safety and Services LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screen. Edge Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com. or apply in person at 402 West Main Street inside the Edge Safety and Services facility. Edge Safety and Services LLC is an equal opportunity employer.
Are you ready to make a real difference in your community? Introducing the New Mexico Army National Guard. Serve your community with pride and become a part-time hero. Join our dedicated team and enjoy the adventure of a lifetime. Get full-time benefits without sacrificing your current career or education. When disaster strikes and your community needs assistance, you'll be there to lend a helping hand. So don't miss out on the opportunity to receive education, adventure, and financial stability, all while serving your country. Get started by calling 1-800-GO-GUARD.
The tool used to measure your feet at the shoe store is called a Brannock device. The person that measures your feet at home for no reason is called a creep with a foot fetish. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, talking some Roswell Independent School District business, we have Jennifer Cole. I always forget, you're assistant superintendent of
curriculum and instruction.
There it is. I knew it was one of the assistant superintendents. Also, we also have the principal for Goddard High School as well, Dr. Porter Cottrell. Good morning, guys. How y'all doing today?
Good morning.
Good.
Doing well.
Good deal. Coming in, and Brian's off just gallivanting today. So.
No.
I know.
That's not a superintendent's job.
I'm just kidding. No, he's committed. As superintendent, you get pulled into meetings from around the state from time to time, and so he's handling business here. So, for folks that aren't aware, the school board meeting met on Monday night. About 2-3 months ago, you guys moved your meeting nights from that second Tuesday to the second Monday. So if you're showing up on Tuesdays and wondering where everybody's at, they were there the night before. So pay attention. We're going to do the recap now if you missed it. But so as far as Monday night's meeting went, was it pretty much the average meeting? Was it more than what was the agenda for that night? Was it pretty busy, pretty light, pretty in the middle?
I would say it was in the middle.
Gotcha.
It wasn't a busy agenda, but it wasn't light either.
Sure.
We had a couple of presentations.
So it was like there's not a lot of work, but the work that needed to be done is important stuff that we need to get done pretty quick here.
Absolutely.
Good deal.
Yes.
Well, I guess we'll kind of start there. Just let's talk about some of the highlights we definitely want to make sure we want the public to know about here.
Okay. All right. Well, the first one, we had a presentation by a team from El Capitan Elementary School.
Okay.
We were talking about our PBIS. That is Positive Behavior Intervention Supports.
Okay.
So it's a framework. It's a behavioral framework.
Okay.
That we put into place in schools to help teachers and principals and students know how to behave.
Gotcha. So it's basically setting the table for this is how you're going to conduct yourselves in a classroom in the Roswell Independent School District.
Exactly.
Kind of setting the parameters for that.
Yes. So her team gave a really good presentation on already the results that they're seeing. They went through a year-long training. We had 5 schools that went through a year-long training. That was a PBIS implementation training, and so they're already seeing great results. We know we've had some pretty significant behaviors happening. They actually started before the pandemic, but certainly the pandemic has perpetuated many of the behaviors that we're seeing. And so this is to prevent those behaviors before they become very intense.
Before they turn and actually taint their school careers as they're trying to graduate and go from year to year here.
Absolutely.
It's setting the foundation, creating the basis for what their next 12 years are going to look like.
Exactly. So we're rolling out a cohort every year for the next 5 years.
Great.
So this year we have another 5 schools in the cohort learning how to implement. And so Terry with the Roswell Daily Record did a really good job. That article's in the newspaper today. But one of the things I wanted to mention is that actually many school districts across New Mexico and the United States.
This is kind of the way the tea leaves are taking education.
Exactly. And so it's an evidence-based framework. And actually there's a report that came out a couple of years ago that the Secret Service and many other mental health organizations.
So they're trying it at higher levels of government operation and finding success there. And they're like, hey, we can, I'm sure they alter a little bit for children, but but the concept is there.
Absolutely. So they're endorsing this. They're saying this is a great preventive measure for school districts to put into place. One of the things that we talked about was really streamlining our behavioral health services in the district. We have about 41 behavioral health staff. And so right now we have different staff operating in different departments.
Gotcha.
And so we're kind of duplicating efforts and wearing our people out a little bit. And so it's really important for us to look at streamlining. It's a single service delivery is what it's called.
Well, and it's because there's a lot of balls to juggle there when it comes to behavioral health and mental health and those types of things. And because you got to balance getting because you want every student to have the same opportunity. So you don't want one issue to detract from the other students, but at the same time, you don't want the other student left out either. And then you got to deal with the fact that privacy, because, you have a right to your privacy and things, and your dirty laundry should not be aired out to the world. So you got to juggle that ball to make sure that's handled right. So it's a bit of a sticky wicket to get this one right.
You're exactly right. Yes.
And so how do we do that balance where we don't sacrifice safety and security, but at the same time, we want to make everyone feel comfortable in the same space? And that's the ball several balls we're juggling right now to figure that out. So
exactly right.
That's kind of the, because, well, let's face it, and I'm not trying to get all, but going to school now is not the same as going to school when we were kids. It's just not. No. It's a different world we live in, and you got to act accordingly, adjust accordingly, and there isn't a playbook per se on how to do this. Okay, if this happens, do this. That doesn't exist. So we got to kind of figure it out. So that's what the school board and you guys as admins are trying to kind of navigate and do all that. So, by the way, and then do the other 27,000 things that are required of a administrator or a person that works in the Roswell Independent School District. So It's a lot to do, and I get what you're saying. It's a Herculean task, but sounds like one chip at a time. You just take, the board and everything's just taking a bite and doing it policy by policy. And at the end of the day, we hopefully got something put together that will address all these needs we're having. So.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah,
yep.
and sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. That's just life. And so
continuous improvement.
Exactly.
Try it, look at the data, and keep on improving.
Yeah. So that's kind of what a lot of this. You mentioned earlier about going back and reading the article in paper. Definitely do that. Don't forget too that they do film the meetings, and so you can go back to the RSD website and watch it for yourself. This past meeting and pretty much the last couple of years worth of meetings, they're all there too. So if you want to see it for yourself and trying to get rid of the filters and see exactly what went said and done, then you can watch it. So, good deal.
Good point.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step all over you there.
No, it was great. Fantastic. You understand.
Yeah, absolutely. What's next on the agenda we want to cover?
So the next thing on the agenda was we had a presentation it was an overview of third grade.
Okay.
So these are the assessments, this is the curriculum, these were our behavior stats from last year and all of that. But the one thing that I want to highlight is the literacy initiative that's happening in the Roswell School District.
Cool.
So we have hired a certified academic language therapist.
Okay.
She's been in the position for a couple of years, and essentially that is like a dyslexia specialist.
Okay, helping people with does it just that, or does it go into like speech impediments and pretty much all
of
that?
Things like just neurological.
Umbrella.
Yep.
Okay.
So she's a high level. We actually have two in the district. We have one who works at Nancy Lopez.
Okay.
A CALT. They're called CALTs.
Okay.
And then we have the district level.
They got to work on those acronyms.
Yeah. We have so many. I forget them sometimes.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as the military.
There's a lot, for sure. So anyway, she's been working with our elementary director, Carla Steinhardt, and we have partnered with the New Mexico Literacy Foundation and the May Center, which is a school that specializes in dyslexia in Santa Fe.
Okay.
And we've leveraged some various funding sources, and we have implemented a cohort of teachers who are working to become CALPs. It's a different acronym.
Okay.
Certified Academic Language Practitioners.
Okay.
And so they also will be learning about dyslexia and
good deal. How to
reading.
Spot it, how to treat it, how to deal with it.
Yes.
Basically. Yeah.
So we have 4 schools that we're working with intensely that are our literacy success schools. Your wife is at one of them, Brindo Elementary School.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that. We're training our teachers in letters. We have 2 letters trainers in our district, Jamie Henderson and Kenna Argenbright.
Excellent.
And so just really focusing on that literacy. By the way, literacy impacts behavior. Right.
And I'm sure the earlier you catch this, the earlier that they can adapt and work with it, so they don't get too far behind when the things they're learning gets a little bit more complex as they get older.
Yes, exactly.
And that's the key. And the good news is, and this is something parents and stuff, that they're spotting this stuff even at like 1 to 3. So before these children get even into the school's hands, talk to folks like Los Pasitos and things like that.
Yes.
So you can work with them then, and by the time they are entering kindergarten, they're just in the regular functional because they've already done the work to overcome and deal with their whatever disability they're dealing with there. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds programming in the district too. We have 3 YA.
Good deal. So they're in there too.
Yes,
So that's the key. They can find and detect and start treating this stuff way earlier than. That's why you're starting to see like little babies with glasses now. Yeah, they can do all that now.
Well, and we have a child find process that we go through. So if anybody has questions about that, they can call Sally Green at Parkview.
Please reach out to these resources. That's why they're there. Parents, you don't know everything. None of us do.
Yep.
Reach out, talk to people, let them help you find those answers and make your situation a lot better. That's
Absolutely.
what it's there for.
So on that literacy initiative, we have been recognized nationally. And we have a Science of Reading podcaster. Her name is Susan Lambert.
Okay.
Who has relocated to Roswell, is working on her dissertation at Berindo Elementary School. So that's really big national recognition. And then we have the Knowledge Matters campaign.
Okay.
They'll be here in Roswell October the 25th and 26th because they've heard about what we're doing with literacy and this cohort. And so they want to learn more about it.
So you guys are actually starting to turn into the example. Like we're doing it here. It's coming. We're having success. Other school districts are like saying, hey, what you got going on over there?
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting. Love it.
Yes.
That's a good thing. What's next on the agenda?
So just one more thing with the literacy. We had the public education department here yesterday. Severo Martinez. He's the director of literacy and humanities.
Okay.
And so there's a partnership with McDonald's. And so they, the Roadrunner, Ralph and Randy the Roadrunner. So they went to Washington Avenue.
A lot of R's.
I know. Sure. And so there's a book that they've published, and they're distributing statewide in partnership with McDonald's, and they're encouraging our students to level up, and that just means to do their very, very best to learn to read. And so that was a really cool event that happened yesterday.
Good deal. I'm glad to see McDonald's getting part of that course. I know locally here in Roswell and everything, the Snowburger Foundation, which they own and run our local McDonald's, they work a lot with our teachers and the district on various events and things to support staff and students.
Yes.
So they do great stuff there.
Yes,
so I'm glad to see that partnership's continuing and expanding.
Yeah, absolutely. We love our partnerships. And so in the spirit of that, we're really working on our industry partnerships with college and career.
Great.
And so we have lots of initiatives. We've grown our pathways across the district, our college and career pathways. And I'm just so proud of the work that all of our high school principals have been doing, and I asked Dr. Cottrell to come in and talk a little bit about the work he's doing.
Yeah, I love how the shift is going, because when we grew up as going to school and things, and there was they kind of steered us to one path. It was, all right, go to school. You're going to school because you got to get into a good college, and once you get to the good college, you pick your thing, and then you go and do. And not everybody's cut out to go that path. It's just because their brain, maybe their mind works in a different way. So, but now it's that teaching to people. It's like, okay, that's certainly a great path, and we'll help you get that way. But maybe you are more hands-on leaning, and maybe we can get you into some of the other trade schools or things, or basically kind of shape in that direction long before they graduate high school. And Doctor, that's pretty much kind of how the mindset is now with some of these programs.
Well, absolutely. Across the country, and you see through the guidance of the Roswell School Board, some of the things that we've said there, and Superintendent Luck, you can see that we're beginning the concept or the philosophy of really not one size fits all like back in the day.
Yeah.
All right, it's more like individualized educational programs for everybody. You know, we're in some ways we're borrowing that from the federal government and the special ed department, where they always develop, you know, individual educational plans.
Right.
But really, we're starting to meet that with everyone now, and again, we're getting some great guidance from you know, our board and that to you know, as they look around the country and as we begin to reshape education. Yeah, kind of what do you think you might want to do for a living, and how can we help you explore that?
Sure.
And our hope is that, sure, you could find it right away, but in what you might want to do, I tell people all the time, I still don't know what I want to do for a living, but I do know it takes a step-by-step plan. I do know it takes some skill acquisition, and you have to be able to step out there and create value for yourself.
Absolutely.
So, you know, instead of going on or thinking you're going to go to a college or do something and then get there halfway through and be like, oh, you know, I don't know if this is what I like.
Yeah, you're
We'd like
spinning
them
your wheels trying to, what am I doing now?
We'd
Yeah.
like them to take a look at some different things, and we have multiple pathways across the board,
Sure.
and check it out. Oh, I like this. Maybe it wasn't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Get out there with our business partners. The Roswell area business partners are amazing.
Yeah.
Through, you know, job shadows,
Well,
apprenticeships.
it's a win-win for everybody because,
Absolutely.
you know, the colleges look and say, hey, well, we need more students. We need this. You know, let's do things and work with the high school to work a synergy there. The business leaders, the college, the RISD, all doing the same thing, because at the end of the day, we're all feeding the community. We're all bringing better citizens to our community. That's the whole job. And so businesses are like, yeah, in my industry, I need more people. Let's see if I can work with the schools to inspire kids to go into my industry. So when they graduate from their whatever institutions they need to do that, I can hire them right off the spot, and they come being a great member of my business, and my it's a win-win for everybody.
Well,
and so
the
that's
cool
why
thing,
we do all this.
The cool thing there too is we're also getting our teachers out with our business partners and
Yeah.
letting them see, you know, now they may have gone away, and, you know, some of them may have been in the business as long as me, and things have changed over the time. Well, now they go out, look and see what's going on in business, see how math, English, science, or whatever is going on in the real world now.
Showing them practical reason why they're learning these math formulas and things, and it's like, why do I need to know this? See that guy over there doing that? That's why you.
And
need
you
to
wouldn't know.
this.
I mean, some of our big, you know, we've got a lot of great industries here and businesses, and it's great for those people to share that with our
And we all know,
teachers.
you know, when you talk about the nuts and bolts of STEM with formulas, it's going to make a lot of people blurry-eyed. But when you say, see that rocket going off over there, or seeing that firefighter put out that fire, STEM made that happen. And that's where you say, oh, cool. So if I want to make the next generation firefighter suit, that's what you're the guy that's going to protect that guy in the next generation. Yeah, that's why I love it. You're showing them it's like, you know, it's like the gaming industry. You know why so many kids want, because they see it and want to do it, and they do it. This is the same thing. It's like showing them that. It's like, this is what happens if you pursue this. This is what you could be doing, and it really gives kids hope and a place of, that's what I want. I found what I want to do now, and I think that was our problem in high school. How many of us were in high school and you take your little test and it's like, says you'd be a good farmer. You know that test you took, you'd be a farmer, an architect or something, and no one ever really, you know, did anything about those. But that was. And so now it was just that, okay, well, I guess I'm going to go to college, and then the job kind of finds you at some point, depending on, it's like, oh, didn't do so good in college, better join the military.
Right.
You know?
Well, that's it. Or you look at your family and say, well, like my family, my dad was in the military, my mom was a teacher.
Yeah,
you know, I did a little bit of both of those, and here I am. Now, who knows if we could have branched out a little bit.
Sure.
So that's what modern education and in here in the Roswell schools in particular is trying to provide opportunities for.
So as parents,
for
if you're listening, you know, ask your principals and your guidance counselors here. Maybe it's, hey, you know, check out our other early high school and the college high, you know, some of these other opportunities for students. Of course, they're not for everybody, but they are for some. Well, if you do have some of those students that are really, I want to be the doctor, I know the goal path, and let's get started in high school. Let's get it so we can get you some of the credits and things done now. So when you officially graduate, you're already one step ahead in your goals.
And we have the ability to do that. I mean, we have a great post-secondary partner in Eastern New Mexico, Roswell, and we need to remember that. And you can interject those courses right into your high school career, and they're free.
Yeah, exactly. Parents, you need to research this, talk with this with your children, because especially if you have a child that really doesn't have a direction yet. If they're in high school at this point and they don't have a semblance of what they want to do, I'm not saying they got to have it all planned out, but I think by the time you're a freshman, you got to at least have 3 or 4 things in your head that you're like, I'd love to do that.
And start to explore those. Use your elective side of your classes as opposed. The state says you have to have core classes.
Mm-hmm.
There's the 4 math, English, whatever. But on your elective side, you have multiple options. Yeah. And so begin to take a look at those. And again, throw in some of those college courses. They're free. Go out there, and then you know what? Why? You can graduate with your high school diploma and your associate's degree here.
Every year we got students walking across the stage. Some of them,
absolutely.
Like last year, they actually got their college before the high school just because the ceremonies lined up different.
Absolutely. Yep. And so we've done a couple of, in middle schools, we're really building out our career exploration. We have DEPCO labs. We're offering more opportunities for students. President Morales talked about it at the board meeting, and our 6th graders, and she'd really like to see some career fairs for 6th graders starting that early. And
absolutely.
It's so important. So
Inspire at that age.
Yes. Yeah. Wise choices. The other thing we've done is we've put our next step plans online. So they're digital.
Okay.
Students have access to those anytime. Parents can access them. So if you think about going to college and a degree plan, the next step plan is your high school plan. And so within those next step plans, and Dr. Cottrell and our other high school principals were part of the team that helped build that. We're I think, the only district in New Mexico who has that online version. And so there's those career interest inventories that you mentioned.
Yeah.
The students have access to their own data, their assessment data, so they can really take a big picture look at what they're doing and the direction they're going.
It really is setting the table for what they, it's giving them options, showing them the world now as opposed to, here's your diploma, good luck to you,
Right. And we're getting away from those standardized tests and just heading right to the SAT and ACT, because we're trying to interject some of the certification options along the way and find out what these businesses are asking for, OSHA, safety, different things like that. Hey, yes, go through your class curriculum, but then also step up and take those tests and see how that goes. And we're saying don't be so attached to your old GPA and different things like that. Explore different things, see what you want to do, and then push yourself to...
Well, and another positive of this is, since you're exposing these career fields and these opportunities to them at younger ages, you have less likely of them pursuing the formal training and halfway through it saying, this ain't for me. Mm-hmm. That's the part that gets on. You get a lot of people that spend a lot of money going to law school or medical school, and then they get through it, and they're like, I don't want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an accountant, or I want to do something else. And you're like, dang, where... I think if after a year or so, they're like, it turns out I don't like messing with air conditioners. I want to do something else.
Right. Yep.
You know what I mean? They certainly better to learn it as a sophomore or junior instead of third year in college.
When you put the money and the resources in on the front end, kind of like prevention with behavior, put that in on the front end, then you're going to be saving money and time on the back end of it. The other thing that's really important, and I forgot to mention it earlier, is just the helping students find their why. Mm-hmm. So we have a big attendance initiative. Lots of kids missing school. Our attendance rates aren't that great.
And I imagine COVID almost encouraged that a little bit, because you're telling people, stay away. And kids that were, especially ones that were just starting their school career, if that's how you go in, it's easy to have that mindset already, like, I don't need to go today.
Yes.
And so you're right. It created bad habits a little bit.
It did.
And created some gaps in their learning. And sometimes, anybody's afraid of those. And really, with our individualized plans and our concept kind of pushed forward by the district, we're trying to create a more inclusive environment and let them know that we have support systems for them, and we'll help bring you up to speed and get you to the level that you need to be, not just throw you in with a class of 30 where the teacher has another 180 throughout the day, and create opportunities for you to slow down, back up, and support you in areas that you
all this
struggle
stuff's
with.
created to make success for you and your family and your children. That's the end game here. Every policy in place, every rule, when we talk attendance, when they're holding you accountable for making sure your children are in your classroom, all of that is to make sure your child has, when they decide to do whatever they want to do, they are well equipped to do it.
And this is a progressive school district. They need to know that. This is a progressive school district that's doing a lot of great things.
Yeah.
And, we're proud of ourselves, but everybody, I think the community needs to be proud of the direction we're going.
Yeah, and here's something, and this is the history of this school district. You look at our state and you look at over the years and things you say, and this has always been a tip of a cap to, and it doesn't matter who the board members are, it's been consistent for years, is they've been good stewards of the finances and of the operations of things. They've, let's face it, with a senior heavy population in the 70s and 80s there, a lot of our schools had a lot of time to where they didn't get updates and stuff because that wasn't the priority of the community. But over the years, our community shifted to a much younger community. And since in the last 20 years, it's been a Herculean task by the RISD to get our schools, and they're almost done. We're almost there. One or two last little things here, but we're almost done. And that's a Herculean task. And I don't think people realize how big a deal that was to get these schools. My wife started back in those swamp coolers, and it was a hot mess in those schools back then. And it's 100,000% better than it was back then, and that's really good leadership and good. That's been going on. I mean, you can have your arguments about policy X or policy B or whatever here, but as far as people being good stewards and doing their best, I think tip of the cap to the board for the last 20 years of people of doing that kind of stuff. It's been a lot of work, and because of that, you don't see Roswell like when the news comes on. It's like, oh, they're gonna go and Santa Fe's getting involved with that school board because their finances are a hot mess. That you don't ever hear about that with Roswell. You never hear about a lot of places in this state. Roswell's never been one of those, so that's a good thing, and people need to know that and respect that. We're pretty fortunate in that.
Absolutely. And we're so grateful for our community for supporting those construction initiatives.
Absolutely. I mean, is there work to be done? You betcha. But as far as people being foresighted and smart and just think if no one decided to do that, what kind of situation? Like if we had those schools and things 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and we're still dealing with that mess, and then COVID, and then the world we live in with the security and everything, oh my goodness, it would probably be something we couldn't even handle at this point. So
absolutely right.
Anyway, I just wanted to put that in perspective real quick.
Thank you. That's good.
Didn't mean to step over everything.
No.
Is there other things about the meeting we want to talk about, or you want to talk about some upcoming events and things here?
So yes, I think we can go into upcoming events. Okay. Except I just want to go back to that attendance initiative.
Yes, yeah. So we kind of got stepped over and moved on that.
We received some big funding from the state to improve attendance, and we have a community attendance team who's working on that. We'll be rolling it out at the next board meeting.
Okay.
And we'll have a community slogan, because really attendance it's not just an us issue, it's a community issue.
I encourage you to attend that meeting.
Yes. Yes.
Don't be truant.
Or if you have neighbors whose children aren't going to school, maybe encourage them to get them to school, or let's get all work together to make sure our kiddos are attending school. Upcoming events we have at Roswell High this Thursday at 4:00. Mr. Petoni is doing the Fiestas Patrias, which is a patriotic festival.
Okay.
Celebrating the independence of Mexico. Again, Thursday at 4:00 at Roswell High.
Right. This is the real one, not the Cinco de Mayo that everyone keeps doing. This is the real independence.
Yes. This is it.
One in September.
You got it. Yes, sir. September 23rd from 10 to 2. We have one of our community schools. In fact, our first community school, Sierra, is having a block party. They put one on last year. Lots of fun, lots of information, games, activities for the families, for the community. Yeah. So
come out, have some fun, and if you want to learn about some of the programs and things that maybe if you have a student that goes there and you want to learn a little bit more about that, great. But if not, just come on out and have some fun and just celebrate with the kids. Let the kids come and play and have fun and do what kids do.
We would love to have them, yes. Okay, and then the last one is October 30th. Mountain View Middle School will be having a big literacy event.
Okay.
This is about the third year they've put this literacy event on. It's kind of in conjunction with Dia de los Muertos, and so some themes going on there.
You kind of learn the real story behind Dia de los Muertos, which is a fascinating story. If you're not familiar, it's really. So if you always wondered why do they do all the skulls? There's a reason, and it's in the story. You should learn it.
Learn a little bit.
And don't forget about parent-teacher conferences coming
that's
up.
going
We
on.
have Thursday evening.
Yeah.
We'll all be at the schools.
If you've not
and-
scheduled your conference with your teacher or teachers, depending on what grade they're in, then you might want to do that now, because I think they were setting that up like late last week and all that. Kind of
Thursday
stuff.
evening and Friday till noon we'll be there. So,
it'll be
that's
Thursday,
important.
Friday. My wife is doing some because she was excited. She goes, I get it off early Friday. Yay! I was like, oh, good for you. She goes, I got to work late Thursday. I was like, well, there's a trade-off.
And then I think it's next week on Friday. We have a half day because we have professional development in the afternoon.
Okay.
So that's September 21st.
Okay, so the kids will go home and the teachers will be doing trainings and meetings and things that day. Very good. Anything at Goddard we want to put on people's radar coming up? I know it's a bit early, but I know one of the tentpole things that Goddard does every year that loves to have the community out with is Veterans Day Assembly and all that. I know we're about 2 months away from that one, but
we are, and they asked me to come in and see if I can make a time with you to talk about Goddard stuff.
Yes, we'll get you on and do all that.
Absolutely, we have Veterans Day coming up, and a lot of of our sports activities.
And I tell this every time. Roswell High, all of them, they do an amazing job. Goddard just seems to go a little over the top with theirs every year. It just seems they've turned it into a rock show, and the kids are screaming and cheering as the veterans come in. It's cool. It's really, and I'm going to put a little task on all our veterans out there. Come to these events. Come. I know the middle schools, elementary schools all have their little get involved. If you got a granddaughter, grandson, or son or daughter, or niece and nephew, or someone in these schools, go out there and let them brag on you a little bit. I know it's embarrassing for you, and I know as a veteran myself, I know we tend to like to lay low a little bit on these kind of things, but you're actually doing a civic duty here. You're reminding these kids why the role of the veteran is important in our community, and see why we treat veterans and why we do the things we do for veterans, what veterans' sacrifices are made, and why do we treat them the way we do? Because of the sacrifice. We need our younger generations to understand that, because guess what? They're the ones that are going to be filling those shoes when that time comes. Some of those kids are going to be the ones that are going to be asked to do some of the things you were asked to do in your time in the military, and we need them there to do that.
And at Goddard, you need to understand, Mr. Hayden Hill is the reason that one goes.
Yes.
And he's amazing at that. And anybody that wants to put on a great Veterans Day thing should contact Mr. Hayden Hill, because he's a
Now, don't get me wrong, Roswell High does a great one
they
too,
do.
and I don't want to, but friendly competition. Let's see if we not do each other. That's all right.
I think
we do it on Friday nights. Why can't we do it on a Veterans Day too?
all of our schools do something for Veterans Day, and so I'm really proud of them. It is, it's, as you
Please
said,
support every
teaching our
single one of
students.
them.
My dad was a veteran. I lost him this year. He was a veteran, but he always looked forward to the Veterans Day events, and he's been to both Goddard and Roswell High.
Yeah, so, come. It's amazing. Good. Trust me, it puts your faith back in humanity. Like if you're like the world we live in, it's real easy to.
It's true.
Just turn on the news for about 30 minutes. By that time, if you're not good and angry, I don't know what to tell you. But
that's true.
But sometimes a refresher when you see young people doing amazing things, it gives you hope. It gives you like, okay, maybe the world's not doomed or lost. There's some good people with good heads on their shoulders, and they're doing the good and right things, and they're going to be the ones that we rely on in the next generation. So it makes you feel good about it. So please go for your own mental health, and go to show these kids why your role is important. Is there anything we missed that I got sidetracked on? I tend to do that.
We covered a lot.
We did. We did a lot in there.
Yes, thank you very much.
And we appreciate you guys. I know you guys like, Brian's back in here. I don't have to worry about this anymore. But and we'll get you scheduled here so we can get you and just come on and talk Goddard stuff and pursuit for blue trophies and all that.
Exactly. Then I can get in that lane, but I got to stay in the district lane here. So
I get you. Very good. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you all next time. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Anytime. All right. It is 8:54. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Now your Pecos Valley News update. I'm Jared Cirillo. The Roswell Police Chief and the city's attorney both concurring that they will not enforce any governor's order regarding the public's right to carry firearms on public property. On Monday, New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham enacted an emergency public health order that bans the open or concealed carry of firearms in Bernalillo County and Albuquerque, which is facing significant backlash. Wednesday, Roswell City Attorney said the order, quote, does not pass constitutional muster. And New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres even chiming in, sending a letter to the governor saying he will not defend the administration in its public health emergency order. Torres says he does not believe the emergency order will have any meaningful impact on public safety and does not even pass constitutional muster. Torres urged the governor to engage in a more thoughtful and deliberate process with members of the state legislature rather than taking unilateral action that he says, quote, infringes on the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens while having no discernible impact on the underlying dynamics that drive gun violence. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
By the way, Special Assistant to the President and Senior Advisor to the White House Counsel's Office. Is this a new role of the White House Counsel's Office? Penning a letter to both conservatives. And they're writing, what's funny about this is they're writing this letter to the media. You got to do your job. You got to push back on this. Sorry, I don't think there's anybody in the media that wants to push back on this. So, and by the way, it even goes further than this. I mean, this thing just keeps getting more interesting by the hour because, I mean, even Liberal Joe over at MSDNC is saying that every single Democrat that, I guess I assume he's talking about Mika Brzezinski, talked to say that Biden's too old to run. Okay, if you're losing people on MSDNC, you're in deep Adam Schiff.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
Your destination for health is closer than you think. You don't have to drive hours for personalized care. You can get high-quality health care right here, close to home, at Artesia General Hospital. From hip, knee, and shoulder replacements to sports injuries, general surgery, pain management, and wound care, our providers will help you get back to doing the things you love right here in Southeast New Mexico. Artesia General Hospital is here for you when you need us. To learn more about some of our key service lines, visit artesiageneral.com/closer.
Sure, you can inspect your own roof, get out that rickety ladder, crawl around up there and try to spot the problem until... Or you can call the experts at Do Right Roofing. Do Right Roofing has quality products for any type of roof. They can even install seamless gutters. Do Right Roofing will inspect your roof and give you a free estimate fast. Keep your feet on the ground. Call Do Right Roofing today.
575-623-2273. Let Do Right do your roof right.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
The journey rolls on for your Roswell Coyotes, and coming up this Friday, your Coyotes travel to Carlsbad to take on the Cavemen. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM and KSVPTV.com have got you covered. Join Art Sandoval and Kelly McDonald for the pregame show beginning at 6:45 and kickoff at 7. Coyotes versus the Cavemen of Carlsbad, Friday night beginning at 6:45 on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM and online at KSVPTV.com. Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority, then, now, and always.
The great one, Mark Levin, is now in Roswell on 106.5 KEND Roswell.
And that's going to do it for us. Have an amazing day. We'll be back bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow. Till then, take care and